morning, good morning, good morning. Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer here. How are you on this lovely Ask Me Anything Friday? That's right. This is Ask Me Anything Friday, where you can post in the comments and ask me anything that's on your mind. It doesn't have to be about my career. It can be about anything. Disney, Star Wars, the Academy Awards coming up. If you want to have a debate on what film should win, I'm ready. Um, as long as you don't get personal. And today you noticed in the thumbnail, I wanted to talk about this Disney walkout that was because of a bill that is in Florida. And I was calling it the shot that rang around the world. It at least went across the country because one of the things that I discovered was that the Disney company, which is in the heart of Burbank, the animators and the Disney company, many people chose to walk out in solidarity for this bill that, quite frankly, is what year is this bill? Do you know what I mean? You kind of go, are people still like that? Why would anyone do such a bill? And then why would Disney not put their hat in the ring against it, saying it was just ridiculous? Just what? How did it get this far? Do you know what I mean? So the reason I put it on the thumbnail today was not to clickbait you by any means, guys. I felt like, although I try to keep this uplifting and non-political, sometimes you got to step up, and when I saw my fellow employees, Imagineers and artists in California walking out, and it was said in several newspapers that a lot of people are still working from home. So they didn't know how many were actually from the walkout, but looked like a good sized group. And it doesn't matter. For every one person that gets in a group and for everyone walking, that they carry the hearts of many who cannot make it. And the Disney employees did this walkout. And during this time, I was actually visiting with my dear friend Evan Hunter and tribe member Evan Hunter. And Evan and I were kind of monitoring it a little bit while we talked and visited, because it's something that's very important. It strikes him on a personal level. And me, it just struck me, just like many people that did this walkout. So the only thing I'm going to say on this is that I want to commend all of you that did the walkout, all of you who have been posting, all of you who've been talking. In fact, there's a website that I thought was very interesting called where'schapek.com. You got to go there if you haven't gone, where'schapek.com. And it kind of fills you in on what's happening with this bill. And I don't know if they'll expand into other areas of thoughts, but I thought it was really clever website. I went there to really understand. I had heard on the news, but when you really want to understand something, talk to someone who it's affecting. And in my case, and I am a person of color, my dad is Black, my mother is white. So I grew up when there were white water fountains and black water fountains. And I've shared the story with you many times about how my father, if we were at a park, he couldn't touch me, his own daughter, because he could have been arrested or worse. So we had to be very careful when he took me to the park. I mean, he wasn't really allowed to hold my hand back in those days. And it was scary then too for little kids. So it was something that an issue. And so I kind of, and forgive me if you are with the LGBTQ community and you maybe find what I'm saying not quite settling on your ears well, understand this is the best way that I can understand it. I'm 65. There's so many different types of identities now that I lose track and I get lost. So just remember, I'm an old dog and no catalytic converter on my mouth. So as I talk about this or I discuss this with you, understand that if it rubs you the wrong way, let me know in a kind way. Okay. Tolerance. All right. One of the things I learned as a little girl, having white skin and being half black, was that tolerance was a big deal. To look at people who reacted to you in ways that weren't that savory, and trying to be tolerant and not flying off the handle every time. There are times that you fly off the handle, but you choose them well. And sometimes it's a lot more fun to have a good, strong, how do I say this? A victory that is something that will sit with that person. You kind of give them a scary moment rather than call them out on it or whatever. In this case, I think with the Disney company, doing what you guys did was exactly a great way to say it. And if you go to this where'schapek.com website, they list what they need from Disney. And remember, I said you want to be part of the solution, not just complain all the time, no matter what the issues are. This is great because they talk about things that need to happen within their company that they want Disney to do, because they said that the apology is all well and good and they appreciate that, and we do. It's nice of you to say you're sorry after saying something horrible or doing something that was wrong, right? But that's not enough, is it? And you want to say, and I think you guys have handled this all beautifully. You've said that's not enough. Let me show you what I would like you as a company to do for me as a Disney employee. And they made a list. And they're saying this is what we need in our company. And this is the time to put it on the table because Disney was one of the first to recognize same-sex couples and allow insurance and healthcare and stuff like that. So they were on the right track. And then all of a sudden, this new administration is a little, I'm trying to be nice. Okay. But anyway, if you have thoughts about this, I don't want to monopolize the entire time with this, but I did want you to let you know that I see you, I hear you, and I cheer you. And I'm sorry that you have to fight so hard, but you fight for that which is important. As a woman, many women will tell you they fight for equal wages. They fight for various things that a woman needs that a man already has. And that's just the way it is right now. And we're working to change that. People of color wanting to have more of a presence as the rest of us do. The LTG, forgive me. There's too many letters, but you get what I'm saying. And I'm saying that, just bear with me. I'm 65. LGBTQ. And then there's more, isn't there? Forgive me, that I don't have it memorized, but my heart's there. My heart is with you. And it's a shame that, people have to be constantly told about this, and that there are things happening that are persecuting all people because of things they cannot change or would not change. It's one thing to make the decision that you're going to be a jerk. Then that's different. We're going to give you trouble if you're going to be a jerk. But if you're someone who, like, I'm half black and I have light skin and never, I could tan, I guess, but I burn. So what I'm saying is, you're faulted for things you can't change. And that's a shame, because if you look inside at people's hearts, we're all special and a blessing on the earth. And we need to remember that a human being is a gift. Being a human being is a gift, and you should treat others as a gift for you and a gift for each other. So that's what I'm saying. And I hope Disney listens. It looks like they might. A couple of things I saw there was that you won't be penalized if you don't want to move to Florida. So you're living here and Disney's talking about relocating some areas into Florida. And if you say no, that you won't lose your job. If you say no, you won't be penalized or persecuted in any way. And I thought that was a really good thing to have in that list of things that you want. there, please go and check it out because I thought it was beautifully written and I think it's a great website. And I'm proud of you guys. Good for you. Good for you for stepping up and good for everybody that went out and protested peacefully. Don't worry if the numbers weren't massive. Apparently, most of the newspapers were like, in some cases, more press than people. But for each person has the voice of thousands behind them. And so, because with the pandemic, we are not good with crowds, whatever, but we're still doing the best we can. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to say it here today. So I welcome your comments. You can ask me any questions about growing up in 1957 is when I was born. And yes, there was segregation, ran into it a lot. There was persecution, ran into it a lot. But that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I had beautiful parents who both taught me that I was a beautiful human being and to spread the joy, be the best person you can be, and have a sense of humor as best you can. Sense of humor doesn't always work, but it certainly helps sometimes, right? It can get the point across when people least expect it. I remember going to see Whoopi Goldberg in New York. And it was a treat for me to do that. It was a gift. And I went there to see her. And her stand up was like Billy Crystal's stand up back in the day, where you laughed and then you went, huh. It was like you laughed and then you thought about what she had just said. And you're like, whoa. It resonated stronger because of the way it was presented. And I thought that was a great way to use use your gift of humor. Yeah, I've always loved to hear Whoopi and Billy and people like that. They make you think, as opposed to just sensationalize. They're comedians that make you think, are performers who give you something to think on. And I really appreciate that. So I celebrate all of you, and I'm with you. So keep me posted on how things are going. As the pandemic has yet another variant that is on the rise. Yay! This is why it's good to get in the air and just take a minute to bring your wah together, center yourself. And this week has been a crazy week for me. I have spent most of the week agitated, not sure, like someone who had caffeine without having any food in their stomach, that. And I couldn't figure out why. And sometimes you just got to ride those things out until the discovery is there. But it's a challenge because you have trouble working. You have trouble relaxing. You try to meditate or isolate or read or put together a Lego Titanic ship or whatever, and it's just not satisfying you. So you step away and you go, what is wrong with me? Don't you? And the reality of it is that the anxiety could be one of many things, couldn't it? The pandemic, the way people are treating each other, haters, what are they doing? People crashing into Teslas because their person is driving a Tesla. This thing that my husband showed me where truckers pinned a Tesla, surrounded the Tesla. The man was terrified. And a woman on the news said, I'm the one that pinned him to the railing. Truck driver, woman truck driver. I'm the one that pinned him to the railing. And she's all proud about it. She scared the crap out of this poor guy. And he was having trouble. He wasn't being difficult. I don't know. I don't own a Tesla. Could somebody post in the comments why Teslas are so hated? Are there people in Teslas that have warranted this? So now people are making a blanket statement on Teslas? Because I don't understand why people are scratching the Tesla hood, trying to crash into the Tesla. This thing has like 18 to 20 cameras on it. You're going to get caught. But my friend said, are you going to be asked to pay for it? Are you going to be asked to be accountable? That's a really good question, because what has happened to accountability? I don't know. So, because there's a lot of it that's not happening. And so this is why my friend who works for Universal said that he thinks people are crashing into Teslas because what are you going to do about it, pal? Is kind of the attitude. And I'd like to know what you think about that. I'm not here to ask you questions, though. Feel free to ask me questions. You're welcome to keep it light. Let's go to something a little bit lighter, and then we'll go talk to you about this. You can talk about the real issues, or we can talk about the fluffy stuff. Okay, it is Friday. First of all, this weekend there is a lot going on, guys. I cannot believe how busy this weekend, March 26th and 27th, is. My head is spinning. Out in Burbank, they're going to have the tempa drums, boom, 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 and they're in between the music. It's out in the middle of the Buena Vista Library in Burbank. It's going to be out in the parking lot. How beautiful is that? In a beautiful day, while people demonstrate this drum presentation. And I think it's like 1 to 3 or something like that, but Google it and you can see it. That sounds cool, but there's a ton of things. One of the things that's happening is it's my son Ian's birthday. So that trumps everything. And I had stuff to do, but I was like, oh no, it's his birthday. How could I, but it wasn't that I forgot. At first I thought, how could you forget your stepson's birthday? Shame on you. And then I said, wait a minute, hold on, step back, stop. He's young. Who wants to spend it with us on Saturday? And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to spend it with, think about it, his friends. I mean, seriously, we're family. We can do it any day. And I like to extend my birthday all month. So we're going to do something together with him probably on another day. But I'm telling you, his birthday's Saturday, but my family, but family can kind of look at you funny and say, what do you mean you're doing something else different? But Saturday is my work day. And I really didn't think Ian's in his 30s. It's going to be 37. Sorry, Ian, if you're watching. He's going to be 37. And I mean, we're getting out now. He lives by the beach. He plays volleyball. I think he's going to volleyball, surf, eat, party with his friends on his birthday. I mean, wouldn't you? I don't know. I'm just saying, So a lot going on this weekend. And so there you go. Let's go over and talk to all of you and let's see some of the things. But my point is, I was going to give you a lighter side. Disneyland, Walt Disney World. So right after I did the thumbnail based on this, I saw that Disney parks are full to capacity and they're saying 2 words, spring break. Apparently at Disneyland, a lot of people are taking their family to Winnie the Pooh ride in Critter Country. And it is so packed, you can barely get over the mountain. You can barely get to the Hungry Bear, I guess, because it's just this moosh of people attempting to be in a queue line that doesn't really work. But people are saying the park is so crowded, it's stifling. So just bear in mind when you go that this could be what happens with you, and think of where you might seek out areas to, zen out, But they were saying that it's crazy. And Disney announced that they are not ever going to be full to capacity again. They've learned a lot. They're doing things differently now. And one person said on Twitter, if this isn't full to capacity, what the heck is it? So if you have something to say about that, or you've been to Disneyland and you've seen this, let me know. Let me know, because I haven't been since January. So it's you can also talk about gas prices and how Starbucks is becoming a lot less expensive than gas prices. So it's just, there's so many things that you want to talk about. But the uplifting thing is, yes, lines are crowded and mushy and tough getting on rides because it's spring break. So if you can avoid it, do. And if you can't, then maybe just celebrate with each other and enjoy each other's company and do the best you can so that you're not frustrated as you go into the park. Okay. But anyway, I just find that amusing, because now the other thing that I'm finding sadly amusing is, how's the Wi-Fi, guys? If you've been out there with all of this crowd, are you able to order your food, book your tickets, do yabba 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 that you have to do, make your reservations, whatever? When the Wi-Fi last time I was out there was not good. So and it's all like phone based. I mean, there's a few stations where they'll that the Disney what are they called? The guides will help you. But I'll bet you there's lines for that too, right? I had a friend who says he doesn't even own a smartphone. How does he enjoy the parks? That's a really good question, right? Anyway, it's a different thing. Okay, let's see what you guys have to say before. And you thought you were going to skate, didn't you? Before we get started, I have to do what I always do, which is to share with you. I gotta find it. Man, my husband and I both said that we need to get our eyes looked at, because we're both seriously tired. And anyway, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. It's a Patreon page for as little as $5 a month, $60 a year. You can join Patreon and have your voice heard. We do lots of fun things. I broadcast before I come and see you every Monday and Friday, and then we have a Zoom call every Wednesday. So if you're interested in checking that out, go here, read about it, and I hope you'll join us. We'd love to have you in Terri's tribe. How was that? Was that good and quick? Also, May 14th and 15th. May 14th, the Disneyana Fan Club is honoring yours truly, that's me, as a Disney legend. And it's Fans for Fans. So I'm very, very honored. And there's a dinner happening on the 14th in the Anaheim, Orange County area. You can Google them. I should really have their thing on my list, and I will eventually. Like I said, it's been a week, but I'll rectify that. But you can Google and get tickets. There will be a full day of presentations that day, and I'll be talking about Disneyland Paris. But you can also go to the dinner, where I'm not only going to be honored, but Kim Irvine as well, whose mother was the model for the original Madame Leota in the Haunted Mansion. So they're celebrating Kim, and they're celebrating, you've seen a lot of Kim's work all over the park. She's been an Imagineer quite some time. And one of the things that's special to me about Kim is that when I introduced my Jewels of the Park, which are some art pieces that I did, Kim was there. She was the heavy hitter that was there, so that people could come up and meet her and then see what I had to offer, since I was a newbie, since I was I was green. I was new to the park sales. So riding on Kim's coattails was something that Disney wanted to make sure happened. And it was great. And I haven't seen her since in person. I've read about her, I've followed her, but I haven't got to actually see her since. So I'm excited to see her, and and the whole thing. So I hope you join me, Disneyana Fan Club. If you're on Facebook, you can Google it, and you can Google it even if you're not on Facebook. They have a Facebook page, and I think they have a website, but I'm not sure. But just Disneyana Fan Club. And you can say Disneyana Fan Club Show and Sale, which happens on the 15th. That's the day after. Fans for Fans. If you collect Disney and you love Disney, this is a great place, because what'll happen is you'll get into these chats about all kinds of cool things, collectibles. If you're someone who likes antique collectibles, you can find them here. And usually 9 times out of 10, I can easily tell you that the person who is selling this to you knows all about it, because it came from their personal collection. Yeah. So it's a really great show. It's a really great show. And I think you'll really enjoy it if you go, and it's not that expensive. So check it out. Okay. I'll have more as we get closer to May. I'm going to talk to the president today, because I want to get everything, all my ducks in a row and things straight. And last week she sent me an email, and I printed it out and I read it, and it's gobbledygook to me, because this week was a crazy week. So it happens. You just write it out and go for it. Okay. All right. Let's get over to you. Enough of the blah, blah. Good morning again. I'm listening to you while I'm sitting in traffic, and you're making the traffic not so bad. So thank you. Thank you, Evan. Thank you very much. Evan just did a spotlight last week. Spotlight features the members of the tribe. If they so choose, we get to see their collections. We get to see what makes them tick, which makes their heart sing. How they display it, how they organize it is lovely. Right now, one of our members, she is an expert in cleaning and taking care of your home to be safe and germ free. And she's doing videos, and it's just great. Evan is a chef. He shows us how to make cool and unusual things and challenges us to do so, follow along and do so. Liz Reed and my people out of Paris in the UK always have something fun to say. And so I urge you to check it out, patreon.com/Terri Hardin, because the people are amazing. Thanks, Evan. Good morning. Hi, Diane. Good to see ya. Deanna says, hello, Deanna. Good morning. Happy Friday. That's Joe, too. Howdy, everyone. Happy Friday. Hi, Michelle. Sabrina's in the house. Hi, Sabrina. How are you doing? Let's see. Sonia Renee Taylor calls it calling people in, not out. That's great. Calling people in, making them aware. Right, Sabrina? I like that. Calling people in, wake up. Being an artist who spends most of her time under a hot light, sometimes you got to call me in too. So, and I kind of appreciate it how many of you take care of me and keep me in the know on things, because I will have a show on. The news was getting a little difficult for me, so I stopped doing that. But I had a show. I'll have a show on and I'll be listening to it, and then I'll catch the news or I'll look at a feed. But I don't spend a lot of time watching television, because there's a lot of deadlines I have to meet. So, and when you're anxious, you don't want to watch other things that make you anxious. And then sometimes you just get all wrapped up in your own world, don't you, that you just don't know. So people like Sabrina, Leo, Evan, and people like that, are really sweet to kind of keep me. I can ask them on the tribe, what's this mean? What's going on? And they're very happy to share. So it's all kinds of things that happen in that private world, and it's great. Good to see you. And yes, I like calling people in. I follow Abigail Disney on Twitter, and she supports the walkouts as well. I mean, how can you not? Right? How can you not? I mean, you tell me about this. I'm late to the party a little bit, and Evan was really sweet to help me with this walkout and why they felt they needed to do this, besides the fact that nobody seemed to be listening to them. That's always a good one. But I'm sure they tried other ways first, and you're just like, this walkout was peaceful. The other thing I loved about it was very colorful. I mean, Disney does things a step, they just very colorful. People were wearing bright colors, carrying rainbow Mickeys and rainbow signs and things like that. And it was a very, the walk sparkled, and it made people stop and look, oh, what's that? And come over and see what it was about. So, when you have creatives, they're always going to do something in a creative way. And, but they want to show their support however they can. And so this is why I thought it was important to mention it, to say something. So thank you. I'll have to check Abigail out. Bob Chapek is wimpy. Let's just say it plainly. He's wishy-washy wimp. That's true. The other thing is he's not accountable, is he? He tends to dodge the issue, doesn't he? And I don't know what lies I don't know what kind of glasses he's looking through, and he doesn't wear glasses, so I can't tell you. But some of the things that he says that are going on that are fine, are you not looking around going, Where is he and what is he talking about? I was at I watched the shareholder meeting, and I wasn't there, but I watched it. The whole time I was scratching my head. I was like, what is he saying? And what is he talking about? And why does he say everything's awesome? And then whoops, what? We didn't rise up against this bill? Whoops. Wow. Just the stuff that's coming out of the mouths just doesn't sound authentic. Just step up and say, I'm sorry, I messed up. Wouldn't you respect someone a lot better if they just kind of owned their mess ups? One of the things I love to do when I'm teaching is to show, just do it. And if I make a mistake, you see me make a mistake. People make mistakes, but then own it, fix it. I don't know. Maybe I'm making it too easy. What do you think? What do you guys think? But you're right, Joe. LGBTQIA is the full when last checked in. Yes, and more to come. And I don't mean to giggle, but I'm 65. So when I first saw this, I was trying to pronounce this as a word. So forgive me, guys. I mean, this is why I campaign for tolerance, because I'm asking questions and I want to learn about your challenges. When I first did my talk with, oddly enough, the Disneyana fan club. This is why they're so special to me. I did my first speaking with not the national international group, but the clubs that are California clubs. There's California clubs, there's Florida clubs, there's Dayton Disneyana club, there's all these little clubs, the smaller module clubs that are part of the big Disneyana fan club organization. And I was at one of the more intimate, let me say it that way, clubs, and I invited them to ask me anything about my background, because there are what's the word? There are I'm trying to think of the word. There's it's not fake news. That's not what we used to say. But there's beliefs that people have that are completely like, okay, you hear it and you just can't believe it's coming out of someone's mouth. I remember I was in Kansas City, Kansas, and a woman came up to me and told me I couldn't be half black because I had white skin. And you can see I'm very, very light. She told me straight up, you cannot be half black because you look too white. That's exactly how she said it. And you could fly off the handle because she was angry. She's looking at you, automatically put you on edge. But I smiled, because I thought to myself, there it goes. Where did this come from? Where in the book does it say you can't be light skinned if one of your parents is a person of color and the other one is white or Hawaiian or whatever? It happens. It's a gene pool. That's why they call it the gene pool. But I just looked at her and I said, well, I called her in really closely and I said, well, you're right. At night, I have stock in milk, and at night I fill my tub with milk, and I get in there and I take milk baths, and that keeps my skin nice and white. And she looked at me, and then I smiled at her. I didn't laugh. I just smiled, and she realized I was pulling her leg. But for a minute, she thought I was telling her the truth. So there are these odd beliefs about you and what you're about, no matter what it is. There's these weird beliefs that you can get angry and upset about, or you can have a little humor and a little tolerance. Okay. Many people believe that if you're of mixed race, what about the kids? You're always hearing, what about the kids? What about the kids? You may even have this. I'm sure you have this if you're with the LGBTQIA group, where they say, what about the children? Your two fathers. What about the kids? How do they explain that? Your two mothers. How do they explain that? Your binary. How do they explain that? Your trans. How do they explain that? They'll live, guys. They'll live because you are genuinely good people. If you have a good heart and you are a sweet and kind and tolerant person, to look at my parents, that's all they got in 1956. You are not thinking about the kids. How dare you fall in love, you black guy and you white woman, because the kids are going to suffer, not you. And that's not true. My parents suffered a lot. They couldn't get married in California. They had to go to Mexico to get married in 1957, 56. I was born in 57. So 1956, when they got married, they couldn't marry in California because it was against the law. Sound familiar? And they were, my father's my hero. My father taught me, as I'm being bullied and beaten because of something I can't change. My hair stuck every direction, and it was blonde. I looked like a dandelion, and so my mother did black hairstyles because she was a white woman. She didn't know how to deal with this African American hair. She was crying. I was crying. It was challenging. And I'm not saying that my challenges are any more than yours. I'm saying challenges are there on many levels, right? So I think that it's important to walk a mile in somebody's shoes and realize that they're fighting for this for a reason. And I couldn't imagine. I remember I just recently lost a very dear friend of mine, my mentor, and he and his partner, Pat and Jimmy, both men, had been together for 48 years, and they came up as two gay men who could not get married. Okay. If one of them had passed away, the other one would have got, nothing, because back then they did not recognize such marriages. You guys, the older people who are one of these letters will remember that was the way it was. And on the day when it was considered, it passed that you could be recognized as spouses, get dental care, health care, insurance, be able to go see that person you love in the hospital. I mean, imagine it. I imagine it. I know exactly what, I feel it. So check in. Yeah. Don't, put your hat in the ring, make a statement and say how much, how you feel about this one way or the other. I feel like Eddie Izzard is like that. Wanda Sykes as well, but maybe a little less so. Yeah. That's interesting. But yeah. Well, and we were talking about this. I was speaking about the other day that I hadn't seen George Clooney in a movie recently, and my husband said he's been directing and writing. And many people, when they have a voice, they want to have the biggest voice they can. And sometimes, and you can name them, actors who open their mouth without checking the brain first, doesn't it muddies the pool. And then people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to talk to actors because of so and so and such who said la la la, right? Directors can say the same thing, but a director can make a movie based on his message. Okay. Such a message is Coda. All right. I love this movie. I want it to be Best Picture. The Academy Awards are Sunday, and I want Coda to be the one. Power of the Dog will line my birdcage. I hated it, but Coda is amazing. Coda is we look at both of them. Okay. If you liked Power of the Dog, I'm not telling you you're crazy. I'm just telling you it wasn't for me. I thought it was pretentious, fake, poorly acted, and baloney. And I saw every single thing they were trying to make us see because it was so inauthentic and just, that movie was, ugh. But Coda is just the opposite. Watching Coda and seeing how it has a message that doesn't hit you in the face with a frying pan. It creeps on you like a nice warm coat. As you go through it, you start to understand something that maybe we didn't think about. And I'm going to be fully upfront here. I didn't think about what it would be like if you're a hearing person with parents who don't hear, and how there are certain things you need to get across that you might not be able to because they're not feeling like you are. It's different. And you love them and you care about them and you're so happy and your family is, everything could be beautiful roses, but there's still that thing. And you're trying to impart this to your family and it's hard because of this certain situation that you're in. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I just keep watching it. I just love this movie, and I think this movie deserves to be acknowledged by the Academy. Now, many people will say that the Academy is a waste of your time, and this show could be exactly that because they've decided to push away some of the awards to make room for what they feel, the Academy feels, are the big awards. Okay, they can try it. I'm not really going to be pleased with it because I think anyone who's nominated for Academy Award, I don't care if the thing took all day. I love to see the speeches and hear what people have to say. I've said before that I would really love it if maybe the Academy would get together with a huge newspaper in the entertainment industry like the Daily Variety and allow anyone who's nominated to thank all that list of people that they feel like they need to thank on camera. My husband says that those people being thanked kind of insist on being thanked on camera. But personally, I think thank them in a newspaper, thank them in a paper or online paper. That's black on white. Okay, whenever I tell people I've done Ghostbusters and someone says your name isn't in the credits, I have the Daily Variety page that has my name under Ghostbusters, Variety, name, Terri Hardin, Ghostbusters, because my name was left off. So personally, that lasts longer. And I would love to collect such an issue where I could hear from each person kind of a thought and the people that they're thanking. And you can circle those people. You can use it as a study tool. To me, this would be great. But what I am getting at is that then the Academy could be where a person, when they win, can talk about what it feels like. And I'll tell you something, if the Academy would allow that to happen without them feeling like if they miss a name, they may lose a job. I mean, we know a lot of it. It feels fearful, doesn't it? It feels like you're afraid if you miss a name, which is why they have the cue cards and the list and they're reading. And who enjoys a lot of reading and a lot of names you don't understand, or maybe it's names you do understand, but it's like a who's who when you really just want to know, how do you feel? Were you a little kid who stood in front of your mirror and you dressed yourself up and you cut your cardboard cutout of the Oscar and you rehearsed your speech and you were 3 years old? I'd like to thank the Academy. It's been a long journey. I've worked very hard. It all started when my agent said, "You're an oak, not a pine." So I want to hear that. If you watch the Academy Awards, and mention in the comments if you do. For me, I can tell you speeches that are in my memory. Sally Fields, you like me. You really like me. The woman who played Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, signing to her parents when she thanked you. Okay? Beautiful Life, was it? Is it Bernini? The French actor, comedian who did this beautiful movie and jumped over the back. He was so excited when he won the Academy Award. He jumped over the back of the theater seats and nearly fell, did a like a whoa to get up and celebrate his win. The shock of the guys who did Parasite, realizing that they had broken through the Foreign Film Academy Award and actually won Best Picture. And the faces on them, the excitement, the joy, Richard Dreyfuss for Goodbye Girl, which I was right with him, jumping up and down and cheering while he, shocked, accepted the Academy Award. We love this stuff. We gobble it up like candy because we love the human story. If the Academy, which is supposed to be about the story in movies, oddly enough, if the Academy would embrace this and create a way for people to shed that fear of not naming the right person. They could actually prepare the article. They could actually maybe say a little bit more. Variety could make it a collector's issue. I'd collect it. You know, look what Sidney Poitier said about blah, blah, blah. At this time, back in that day. Wow. Look what Denzel Washington wrote about Training Day. Wow. Instead of listening to him thank. Ooh, it's so boring. You know? And it is the entertainment industry. There's nothing wrong with entertaining us. And we love the stories. We love to hear how you feel. You know, I don't need a toilet paper roll list. And if you're someone in the business who's a casting director, a director and a producer, or you're, you know, I don't know, and you really feel like you're going to make this the difference between whether a person is hired or not, you need to check your criteria, okay? Because trust me, I don't think you need it. I think you're big enough. I think you're fabulous enough. And I think you get patted on the back enough. And I really don't think you need it on TV. If you're going to take things off of TV, take that off TV so we can see how people feel when they get the award. This is something that I always say. If you're going to complain about something, have a solution. This is my solution. This is my solution. I'm going to keep saying it. In fact, I'm going to the Academy Museum because I am a member. And you support that which you love. And we're going to a Members Appreciation Day, and I'm going to suggest it there too. And I'm not going to stop. You know, I'm not going to stop. Just like you're not going to stop with your LGBTQ plus stuff, right? You're not going to stop. If you stop, then it diminishes because we have such a short attention span. So you got to keep speaking, don't you? So that's why you do. That's why I keep saying I'm a Disney legend. One day Disney will get it, that they should be giving me a Legends Award. Even though I know so many are saying the Disney Legends Awards are to move Disney forward. It's more of a tool to possibly get their brand moved forward. I mean, you know, that's really what people are saying. It doesn't mean what it meant back then. I still deserve one. So I'm going to say, make me a Disney legend, Disney. My work is in, you know, half your parks. Let's go. You know, and it's Andreas Deja, who is a Disney legend, who told me, no, Terri, you're thinking wrong if you don't think you're a legend, because you absolutely are. Your stuff is there, and you work to help others. You lift people up. You are a great representative of the Disney brand. You are the positive side of the Disney brand, and I strive to do that every single day. So yes, I should be acknowledged as a Disney legend by Disney. So we'll see. Will it happen? But you got to speak it, guys. You got to speak it into existence. And that's one of the reasons I love these walkouts. And that's why I like this Where's Chapek website, because they are listing what needs to happen. They're not just saying this is bogus, Disney, your behavior is bogus, and leaving it at that. They're listing what needs to be changed. And that is being part of the solution, not the problem, right? You know? Yeah. It just complaining without a solution doesn't really help, does it? About Tesla, it's a couple of things, says Retro Exotica. Tesla cars are seen as symbols of wealth. Elon Musk has chosen to move Tesla from California to Texas, and Californians are angry about that. Elon Musk. Yes, he moved it to Austin, didn't he? And Austin was really thrilled about it. Not. Austin, Texas was a little tiny, beautiful little town that most of the streets had 2 lanes. I went there to do a forensic facial reconstruction class. This is where skulls are found in the desert, and you reconstruct with a forensic anthropologist to recreate the image so that maybe families can discover if that is indeed one of their lost loved ones. Texas is known for having the roughest terrain between Mexico and the United States, and many Mexican people try to climb over there to get into the United States because there's no wall. There's other places that have no wall, but many will try this horrible crossing, and over 400 people have been lost in that area. And when I went and did this class, the Texas Rangers pointed this out. So as soon as the pandemic lifts, I want to get out there again and volunteer my services. And we get these skulls and we work with these forensic anthropologists, and we bring these people back to life so that hopefully their families can find them. And I love it. Had it been around when I was a kid, that could be what I do now instead of what I'm doing. But I'm fascinated by it. And when my husband retires, it may be something that I really dig into aggressively. Pandemic kind of separated us from it, but it's such a good feeling when somebody finds out, has closure for their loved ones. And to me, it just gives me chills that I love it so much. So people are moving to Texas because the dollar goes further. There's that. And as a result, they have choked up in the little town of Austin, the streets, because the streets have not widened. They're not like California where we do have traffic, but we understand there's more than one way to get to where you need to go. We know all the routes that go around a busy freeway. The freeway is not the only thing unless you live in Palmdale. Then it's a kind of a drag. The 14 is pretty much the only way to get into town. And I go, that was awful. But my point is that Austin is really struggling. So Elon Musk leaving, I think if you are someone who lost your job because of it or had to relocate to Texas and you didn't want to, yeah, that's a drag. And Elon Musk is an odd duck too. But I don't... I think it's kind of shooting the messenger, because Teslas were, I agree with you, Joe. Teslas were a symbol of wealth, but they've been in the I mean, my husband was telling me that they've been making models that are more affordable because they want more people to have this electric car. So they've been, it used to be you saw one Tesla in like months. Now they're everywhere. So they're more affordable now. I mean, not to everybody. Okay. They're not going to be a Honda or a Chevy. What's a good affordable American car, would you say, that works? No offense, America, but you're hit and miss sometimes with cars. I drive an American car. I've always wanted an American car. I used to always drive Toyotas. And every time I wanted an American car. But at the time when I got my Toyota, I have to tell you that the Fords were not cutting it. They were not good. Found on the road daily, was a lot of people would say. But in 2012, Ford surpassed Tesla in vehicle excellence. And so that's when I bought my Mustang. And I love my Mustang. And I don't know that I'll ever be in another car because I have always wanted a Mustang since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I'm not a car person, but I love my Mustang. Oh my God, I love it. And 2012 is when I got it. So it's 10 years old. Happy birthday to my Mustang. But I love it. It's just such a great little car. And I never thought I was going to love it as much as I love it. I always thought I had to be higher. The first car that I wanted was a Jeep, an authentic Jeep CJ7, which I bought with one of the residuals from Ghostbusters. And I was so inexperienced with the stick shift. I know how to drive a stick shift, but I was rusty. So my dad drove it home. It had 8 miles on it. And my dad drove it home because the first 1,000, you got to take care of that when you have a stick shift in your car. I love my Jeep. I loved my Jeep very much. It was a very special vehicle for me. And it showed accomplishment to me. But cars are expensive. Cars can be pricey, and the electric cars can be pricey too. And now, because of the gas, the electric people are doubling and tripling and quadrupling the price of the car. What's that about? Gouge. Come on, if you can find them. So it may be, I asked my husband if the Tesla was being targeted because it's easy to see what's a Tesla. They are a very, when it's a Tesla. I personally don't think they're an attractive car. The insides are very interesting, and the name's cool. But I know how you, I know, but why be violent to the person who, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know why you would terrorize people who like the car. They like the car. They like the electric car. They want an electric car. They buy that one. You know? I don't know. I think these aggressive behaviors toward them is a little confusing. I'm not going to judge them. I'm just going to tell you I am confused why you would do that, especially since it has all these cameras. But then, like my friend said, a lot of times you may not be held accountable for your actions. So why not, terrorize a Tesla? But oh my gosh, I felt for this guy in his Tesla as these giant big rigs surrounded him and stopped him and pressed him up against the center divider and the freeway. Come on, guys. This is terror. Do you remember Duel? That's one big rig terrorizing one guy in a car. Terrorism is not cool under any circumstance. I don't care how you feel about this symbol of wealth. My goodness. I just don't think that was right. Okay? I don't think that was right. I don't think that was, I felt for this person alone in their car as the trucks closed in. I'd have been terrified myself. What are you going to do with that? And then this woman saying, I'm the one that pinned him to the grid, and you're proud of that, lady? So, yeah, I'm finding it incomprehensible is what I'm saying. It's more a Tesla creator thing than a Tesla driver thing, I think. Still ridiculous to me. Yeah, the poor driver, that's what I'm saying. How does this affect Elon Musk is what I'm saying. If you have a bone to pick with Elon Musk, how about writing to him? I don't mean going and terrorizing him, so please don't terrorize Elon Musk, okay? He happens to be doing great things for him and SpaceX, in my opinion, are doing great things with NASA. He made astronauts cool again, getting together with NASA and collaborating. And honestly, I'm really happy he's doing it. He did it. Whatever. I'm excited. He called it the Dragon. He called his ship the Dragon. I mean, what's not to love, guys? I've never been so rich that I've never been in the position of these people that are so rich they could buy an island. Is that fun? I don't know, but I've never been that. I'm not even someone who could spend $250,000 to go up and see Earth from space, even though it's number one on my bucket list. I just got to pray that someone loves me enough that they'll send me, like William Shatner. Is that going to happen? Who knows? But thank God for the NASA channel. If it doesn't, at least I can see Earth from space from people who are in the space station taking pictures. I love the space program. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little kid, but I get motion sick. And my friend and space shuttle pilot of 13 flights tells me I should just suck it up and realize everybody gets motion sick. Story Musgrave, he's amazing. And I write to him often and ask him, what do you think about this? How do you feel about that? Because it's great to talk to a real live, dyed-in-the-wool rock star astronaut. He's not just an astronaut, he's an astronaut. So I'm just jazzed, to have someone I can reach out to and ask these questions about. And so I made this pin for the SpaceX program and the Dragon because I wanted to thank them for getting it back on the books. The space program is so important to me and I love it. And I've got to thank Elon for that. And even if I thought he was, let's say you think for whatever reason, he's the devil. Why are you attacking people that, I mean, it's like if you didn't like Japanese cars and you're attacking everyone who drives a Toyota. Seriously, guys? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have to agree with Sabrina. It just is, it boggles the mind, right? Yeah, boggles my mind. Don't Tesla crashes cause serious damage to the car for fender benders. It could, for one thing, one of the things that Tesla is doing that's really something that everyone is discussing now in the car industry is this car that drives itself. I'm going to do this a lot because that's not really what it does. It's driver's assist, not sit back in the back seat while the car in the front seat drives itself. Okay. But people hear what they want to hear, don't they? And so a lot of these people are taking their hands off the wheel and reading the newspaper and wondering why they're crashing. But here's the thing, and it's a good question, Audrey. And by the way, your pins are on the way. Thank you for ordering. You're just a love. Thank you for that. But here's the thing. Anyone who takes their hands off a wheel is going to crash their car and cause damage to other people. Okay? So I don't know. I mean, let's take these semi-trucks that pinned in this little tiny car. I don't care. Put a Honda in there. Put a Subaru in there. Put my Mustang in there. With 18-wheelers all around you. Isn't the effect the same? Blood-curdling fear because these things can crush you. Who likes to drive behind or next to one when you're on the freeway? Raise your hand if you have. You see what I'm saying? You see just the craziness about this into my brain that's not getting it? You see? There's no reason to terrorize other people. You have better things to do. Life is too short than you being this little individual terrorist. You're behind a big rig, so you decide to terrorize a little car. This is why we love Duel so much, because it's friggin' scary. Now, in that case, we don't know who the driver is. It's a dark, eerie, it has weird music, it's creepy, it's scary. It's also two people alone on the road. He has no way. He doesn't have a cell phone. There were not such things. He doesn't have, Dennis Weaver has no way of doing anything to save himself. It's on a 2-lane highway in the middle of the desert. I'm telling you, scary stuff. So I felt for that guy. I really did. I really felt for that guy. And I really didn't like the fact that people were proud of what they did. I don't think that was good. I don't think that was good. You'd have to explain to me why you think that's good. I'd have to hear. Yeah. Paul, how are you? Good morning. About the Tesla thing, like everything else, what you choose to drive has become political. I know, right? More and more, it makes you want to have an island. But then that could become political, couldn't it? I'm half expecting that someday I'm going to be yelled at by someone for discussing the weather. Like, I love London weather because if it's raining, wait 5 minutes and it'll change. What do you mean by that? Huh? What do you mean by that? I know what you're saying, Paul. There's sensitivity this time. It's a little scary. It's a little frightening. So this is why I'm doing wild and crazy things as an artist. And this is why I do these, honestly. And Patreon allows me to keep this free, People who go on Patreon and support me there, help me to do these and not worry about getting, thousands and thousands of followers, making it, clickbaiting or whatever that is. I'm not technologically, I can't even pronounce it, technologically savvy, and I'm slow like the turtle. I'm not the hare. I'm one of these people that you have to say things to me several times before it sinks in. And even then you got to show me. You can't just talk to me. I'm an artist. I'm about seeing, not hearing as well. And so my husband tries to explain something to me, and then he'll look at me and he'll see my eyes, crossing. And he'll go, all right, I forgot. I'm sorry. And there's a couple of things I want to do this year. I want to do tutorials, and it's already March. And am I going to get this done? I hope so. And I'm looking at people on the Patreon page who really are rocking it. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, how can I learn from them? And how can I support them for the learning? But the main thing is that I come here every Monday and Friday, so you have a place that you can vent and you can talk as long as you are kind to each other. Because debates are great as long as you don't get personal, aren't they? I love a good debate. I had one. I had a really good one on this Genie Pass thing, which I immediately thought was really awful. How dare they gouge you going into Disneyland? Now they're going to gouge you in the line, which is the way I felt. I even used the word gouge. You heard me, right? And then friend and tribe member Holly McKenzie said to me, and this is what I love about people on the page and about you guys, is that she said, wait a minute, Terry, I think the Genie Pass has a place at Disney. And I was like, really? Tell me. And she said, being a traveler, she's based in the middle America. We're just going to say middle America. And she was going to come to Disneyland because now you got to make an appointment. Now you got to plan it like any other vacation, don't you? You got to make sure you can get the appointment to get in. You got to make sure you can get the restaurant that you can, another appointment. You better make sure you have a smartphone. You got to make sure that, you got to check this out, this out, this out, this out, this out, check. And she says, I have 2 small children and only a few days to be there. So we're going to get the Genie Pass to ensure that the kids get to ride the rides they want. And I thought about that and I thought, you know what? You have a point. I live right next door. I can practically fall out of bed into Disneyland. So for me, it doesn't make sense. But for the traveler, it just might. And so I was like, hey, that's a good point, Holly. I never looked at it that way. And that's what a debate is. You say, but what do you think about this price point? And she said, well, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm grateful that it's offered. So maybe if they could, and she's very wise, as many of you are. All of you, I hope, are wise. And she said to me, she said, you got to start somewhere and then fine tune and work it, don't you? You may bake that bread and it's not quite right, but now you're going to tweak the ingredients until it is right. And hopefully Disney will do that. And I hope she's right. But she made me see through different eyes. And that's what a good debate does. Okay. You may have remembered that I think it was last Friday or maybe even Monday when I said Power of the Dog is a real dog and I would rather be doing laundry. And my friend Jay Aldridge came in and said he really liked it. And I said, let's do lunch. And you explain to me this movie because I will give it one thing. You either love it or you hate it. And that's saying something because, you don't really want to make a movie, put all that effort and time in the telling of your story and people go, meh, it's great if you really, really dislike it or you really, really like it. It creates controversy and you could feel like Power of the Dog. You did do that, but I still hate this movie. Paul says, good morning, Terry, about yes, yell at someone for discussing the weather. Yes, I did say that, didn't I? Audrey says, how do you feel about Genie Plus? I personally think it's a waste of time. But like I said, Holly points out that if you're someone that's not living in Disneyland, you're in Disneyland, not in Disneyland. Well, some of you do live in Disneyland, don't you? Do you still today? Anyway, slip of the tongue there. So let me be accountable. Whoops. But if you live near Disneyland, things make sense that may not make sense to you if you don't live near Disneyland. Okay. Genie Plus to me doesn't make sense if you live near Disneyland. All right. Because, one day is as good as another. You can go on a lesser busy day and you can not go during spring break. Okay. Unless it's your birthday. Evan's birthday is April 31st. So we're probably going to collide with, March 31st. So we're going to collide with spring break. Oh, well, we'll suck it up. We'll be fine. One of the things is the Disney Pass, the Disney's annual passes that are very, very expensive. Well, they are if you buy one and you live, let's say, New York or Indiana, where you are not close to Disney World or Disneyland, and you can't just fall into the park. If you're like us, who live very closely, you can get online and pop into Disneyland after 5 o'clock. Have dinner. Most of the people have dispersed. I mean, it's still busy a little bit, but they've dispersed. You can catch a show, which is coming. The shows are starting to come back. Catch a dinner, meet with friends, visit, just sit, look around, grab a Dole Whip, go to the Janet Tiki room. There are things you can do where it's not peak. And the reason for that is because we're so close. We can go, hey, wow, I find myself in Anaheim. Whoa, let me jump on my phone and see if I can pop into Disneyland for a couple hours, because the pass is, especially the Dream Key pass, is every day. Okay. So any day you want to go, you don't have to stay the whole day. You can stay for 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes if you want. Go in and grab something that you want to buy. Have you seen those cute little cups with the dogs and cats on top? The little tumblers for drinking your drink? They're really cute, I think. I thought they were cute. I don't want one. No. But I thought they were cute. So let's say they say they're at the parks. Now you can buy them online at the parks. I saw that the dog one and the cat one were online for Disneyland. You could actually buy them online at the Disney store. Shop Disney, isn't it? But if you want the ones that have the park or whatever, maybe you got to go to the park and find them and buy them, right? They're $30, so you better be loving that thing a lot. But they are cute. They're kind of sweet and cute and fun. There's something that I've said, use the word cute and Disney in the same sentence, and I don't often do that. But let me do that again. I found something that I absolutely fell in love with. It's probably not going to stay with me very long because my bookkeeper is a Tinkerbell fan. But have you seen this? I don't even know what, I love Stitch. Okay, I'm a Stitch. But look at, there's a Tinkerbell in the ear. And look how cute he is. He's green. I love the color green, by the way. And he's got Tinkerbell fabric. She's going to probably steal him from me. But I love Stitch. I am a Stitch. I made a Stitch puppet. And I did a Stitch puppet for an auction. And Bob Gurr got him. And this is called, and you guys, if you know about these, tell me about them. Stitch Crashes Disney. And it's series 11 of 12. I haven't seen the others. I saw this and I fell in love with it because he was green. And then after the fact, I found out it was his Tinkerbell. So he's wearing his little wings. Isn't he cute? I don't buy a lot of Disney for myself, but this little Stitch guy was so cute. I won a Giant, the pink one, the girlfriend, and I put her in a basket for charity for kids, and I loved it. So I just really thought this was sweet and cute. It's Peter Pan. It's a thing I want, but I got to hide it from my bookkeeper because she's all about Tinkerbell. Or I better go grab another one so I can give her one and she won't take mine. But I really like this little guy. I don't understand this. I'm not following, but I think he's really well made is what I'm trying to say. So twice in Disney, well made. I'm using it in a sentence and I usually don't say that, right, Paul? And what's I really like here is this feels like leather right here, like a leather. It's soft. This thing is beautifully made. This little guy is beautifully stitched and made. He's just so cute. So I fell in love with him when I was, went and did a taste of Disney or a touch of Disney or whatever it was, when the pandemic was slowly opening, and I found Grogu's and they were on sale for like $10. I must have bought like 4 because they're so beautifully sewn. And I put them in my treasure chest for my patrons. That's another thing. We do a treasure chest where you win stuff. Yeah, you can win stuff. Yeah, that I send to you. But it won't be this guy because I really like this guy for me. But anyway, I digressed, didn't I? But it's the first time. Anyway, I thought it was cute. And maybe it explains on the tag what Disney crashes are. But I know you guys know, so you could explain to me if the thing is. But anyway, I think that for to answer your question, Audrey, which maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Let me just recap, is that I don't like it for me. I don't think they should charge as much as they charge. And what I really dislike about Genie Plus is when it doesn't work, they just refund your money. And that is not what, I mean, what can they do really? But I think rather than refunding your money, they ought to say, the next time you come, you'll get it for free. Here's a code. And if you use it in the next year or whatever, you do it because you're buying it to use it. And when it doesn't work, you're like, aren't you? I mean, I would be. And that's what happened to my friend Holly is, the first day it was like pulling teeth to get it to work. And then all they got was their money refunded. I mean, it's nice that they do that, but you get it so it works. So, but as Holly said, they're working with it. Apparently they keep trying to make it better. And hopefully it'll be better for those of you who are coming in from points unknown and you want to make sure you can ride the rides that you can. She made a good point. And that's what I'm talking about. Good debate. Yeah. Yeah. You shouldn't need a smartphone to enjoy Disneyland. Walt didn't have a smartphone. I know. My poor friend Chris. I have the dearest friend Chris. He is such a love. And he says, I don't own a smartphone. I can't go to Disneyland, even if I could afford it. And there's another perspective. You see, this is the beauty of people. You can't see every position. You can't see through anybody's eyes but your own unless you sit and chat with people. And when Chris said that, I said, oh, man, can you imagine? The other thing Chris can't do is do the Star Cruiser, because apparently the Star Cruiser down in Walt Disney World, which to me is insane to begin with, not insane to go, but insane to release after people have been penned up during a pandemic. You're going to be pinned up in another container. So you're going from your container to their container for a lot of money out of your pocket. You know what I'm saying? I would have waited to release, if this is your vision, I would have waited to release it, I think. And one guy, I watched a lot of videos about it. Some people thrilled, some people weren't. But the one thing that the one person said, and I wish I could give you credit, but you'll know who you are if you're listening, and hopefully you are, is that he didn't like spending his whole life on his phone. For 2 days, you got to be on your phone because that's where you get your missions and your itineraries. And I don't know if that's true. I haven't been there, but according to him, this was the ideal, and you're here. So you're kind of, who wants that? I don't know. Some do, but they're worried because they're not getting, I guess they thought that when they opened this thing up, it would fill up for the year. And it's basically only filled up for the rest of this month and a good portion of April. But if you look at May, June, July, August, October, it's open. You can pretty much pick your day. Yeah, there's a couple days in there that are, but if you really want to go, you can pick your day. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be trapped inside with people for 2 days and feel guilty if I want to rest. You know what I mean? So people don't feel comfortable going to their hotel rooms because they're afraid they might miss something. So you're on a 2-day marathon because you want to make sure you get everything you can from the money. And then you must collapse. What happens if you're coming from out of town to do that? And now you're going to spend the time in the parks or whatever. You're going to crash and miss out on that stuff. I don't know. To me, it just does not sound like good planning on Disney's part for releasing this. If you're someone who's done it or you're someone who loves it, and I'm speaking out of turn here, it's only from what I've watched. I have not experienced it. Please share with me, okay? Because that's what we're here for, is to hear it from the people who, are in it, I grew up in Garden Grove next to Disneyland in the 60s, etc. If you weren't inside Disneyland before 10 a.m., you couldn't get in. They limited the gate, which is kind of what they're doing now, isn't it? It's ridiculous now. It's all about the almighty dollar. Before the pandemic, it was so crowded. I love Disney, but they're ruining the experience. And this is this new wave of people that are coming in. They're not, thank you, Diane. They're not about your experience anymore. They're about collecting that dollar. And okay, let's say that's your motivation. The key is to not make your people, you don't want to make the people who love the park feel like all you're doing is milking them. That's all you care about. I just want to milk you for your money, milk you for your money, milk you for your money. You don't want to feel that way. You don't want people to feel like that's all you care about them for. And that's what Chapek and company are doing. They really are. And I wish they'd own up to it and start to think about creating more fun experiences instead of this, And the odd thing about it is many of you are shareholders like me, and the stock is plummeting. It skids sometimes, boom, boom, like a spaceship, but man, I haven't seen it fall like that in a long time. Good thing I'm a buy and hold kind of person. But ouch, man. If the idea that a person can say, we're not about the money, we just want to take care of our shareholders. But that's not even the truth either. Because the stock is going like this. He ain't taking care of us. We're going, what the hey? And Evan said something, Evan Hundred said something very, very profound to me. And that was, I really didn't like a lot of the things that Bob Iger did when he was in charge. But now I'm realizing just how well he did. And that's the thing. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. You can't please everybody. But you got to at least look like you care. And Bob cared. He created some stuff and did some things that I was very impressed with when it came to the company. And there were a few things I wasn't so keen with. But that's a human being. And I'd like him back, actually. Yeah. So he may not go back, though. Once you're in and you've seen what it takes to do it, sometimes you just rather, look for a beach and a nice, tequila and sun yourself. You may not want to go back to the rat race, right? Heard you mention while catching you on tape that you were a Girl Scout and went to Camp Lakota. That is correct. And she says, woo! Basically, all capitals, right? Let's see. I went for 2 to 3 years until you did not sleep on Ray's train car like bunks outside and had to sleep in the older girls' beds outside. Made my family all eat by camp rules at dinner for a while after I got home. Did you learn the song Babala Gobala? No, if I did, I don't remember it, sweetheart. I don't remember it. I remember Kumbaya, which you doesn't. I mean, and my husband, I'll start Kumbaya, my Lord. And my husband will be like, you cannot sing that in my presence. Please stop. Because it's like the only camp song was Kumbaya. Oh, Kumbaya. I mean, everybody would sing it. Now it's in your head. You're going to have to go write Small World to get it out. I apologize for that. But that's the one I remember. I do not remember this one. You'll have to send me an audio, a messenger, and sing it to me. I have to tell you, Susan, being a Girl Scout was something I really loved. And I'm one of these people that, I remember the girls were trying to get the the skirts shorter, and they would sneak because it had to be only 2 inches above the knee or your Girl Scout leader would send you back home. And I remember they would try to fudge it all the time. Isn't it funny what you remember? The badges, were work and stuff like that. I love the art badge because it was all about art. Obviously, they didn't have a dragon badge, which I always kept campaigning for. I was an odd little duck, but yeah, I was. I still am an odd little duck. But the point is that Girl Scouts was a lot of fun for me. And then I joined the Civil Air Patrol. Met my first hunky boyfriend at the Civil Air Patrol. He was a pilot. And I was 16, and his name was Fred. And I remember looking over and seeing him, and then we went on a blind date, and it turned out he was the one I was on a blind date with. And I really liked Fred. He was, his first time boyfriend, so for your 16th birthday, he says, how about I fly you over to Catalina? And he flew me to Catalina for my birthday, and I'm 16. My parents really liked Fred. Wholesome as the day he was born. Wholesome as As Wonder Bread, I guess you'd say. Is Wonder Bread wholesome? Wonder Bread's not wholesome. I don't know. But anyway, he's a lovely person. Had a great dad. Sweet, sweet guy. Not destined, innocent like me. New to relationships. We were young and we didn't know what certain things were that the rest of our friends knew were. I won't get into details, but that's a thing for the Patreon page. We can talk about the details of how innocent we were for real because we believed our parents. But what a great guy. And the Civil Air Patrol was really fun because we got to be involved with planes and the military, and we were on a aircraft carrier called the SS Constellation, and I had never been on an I had never seen one except for on TV, let alone been on it to meet the men and women that worked on it, and I was just blown away. I was just so excited. We had to wear our uniforms and everything. So as a Girl Scout, I love selling the cookies. But I love the activities around the badges. I think that was the most fun. And Camp Lakota was great, Susan. Camp Lakota was the bomb. I loved it. Oh, gosh, I loved it. And you could swim there, right? I remember swimming. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Paul says, yep, we have a website, DisneyAnnaFanClub.org. You heard it here first, guys. DisneyAnnaFanClub.org. That's Paul. And there you go. So Paul Warren, the president, I'm going to be calling her because I got to get some details about some surprises you guys sent me that I didn't quite realize I was doing, but that's okay. I don't mind. Just need some specifics now that my week has calmed down. I can actually pay attention when you talk to me. So let her know. Okay. I'm very excited. I don't know. Will you be interviewing us that day at the Legends thing? You study hard, Paul. You kill it because you know me. I'll take over. I'm teasing you. You know I am. I love you, man. Good morning. Hello, Darren. And here's the amazing Evan. LGBTQIA is also known as the alphabet mafia. Why? It's a cute little play on words, isn't it? But if you say alphabet mafia, what connotations does that have, Evan? Is it good? Mafia, you don't necessarily equate the mafia with good. You know what I mean? DFC calls them chapters, or did. 3 DLR nearest in chapter is chapter at the park, and or was BC. Yes, there's chapter at the park. There's the one up north. There's 2 or 3 up north. 2 up north I've been to. Golden Gate chapter. And then there's one in Washington that hopefully I'll get to go to. She keeps reaching out for me to go and see them and speak to them. I'd like to travel again and start to speak to these clubs again. I was doing that. That's another thing that Patreon supporters help me with, is getting there to speak live and in person with clubs that can't afford to pay or fly me in. So that's cool. But yeah, there's the clubs are great. These Disney Anna clubs are great. And this big convention that's happening in May is the first time we get to all be together. So if you can make it, I want you to go there, okay? And like Paul said, you go to DisneyAnnaFanClub.org to learn more, okay? Okay, cool. All right, cool. And thank you, Evan, for that. Susan says DFC calls them, oh, that's what Susan said. Thank you, Susan. Sorry about that. Did I call you Paul? You'd like my friends Teresa Stovall and Rain Pryor. Those are some great names, I tell you. They're both half black and half Jewish, and they talk about things like this all the time. We have to, okay? Because people of color are in the news. Beep, 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 beep. And what's happening is, okay, it's like if you tell your spouse, why don't you ever send me flowers? And you say to yourself, if you say this happened early in my relationship, you'd wrestle with this because you kind of want them to know. You don't want to tell them because then they may make you feel uncomfortable when you get the flowers because you made a big deal about the fact that you didn't get flowers, blah 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 blah, right? Well, now how does this have to do with people of color and people like this, black and Jewish or Hawaiian and Samoan, or Samoan and like my dad is half American Indian and half black, and my mom is French, Canadian, Scotch Irish. Yeah, there might be more in there, but who knows? But the point is this. So people of color say we'd like to have more opportunities to be in films and you should have more people of color. But you're hesitant because you don't want to be a token. Well, maybe some of you do. I shouldn't put that on you because some of you go, it's a job. And at least if I have a job, I can make it happen, right? I may be the token person, but I'll be the best token ever so that it will open the way for others. So I should say sometimes it's okay, but you really feel you don't like it. I'm going to speak for myself. I really don't like it when I watch something and I feel like they're checking off a quota. Okay, here's my movie. Okay, there's the black person, check. Mexican person, check. Gay person, check. Trans person, check. Binary person, check. And you're just like, really? Do you really think I, the viewer, am that stupid? That I don't see this checklist of things. So you're trying to fill your movie with something and you want to make sure that we know that what they are is, you know what I'm saying? When you can allow that person to bring something to the performance. So I think I mentioned the person that is in Billions, and they are incredible. They don't look female. They don't look male. They are binary. You don't need to put a sticker on this person's skull that says binary. The way the person performs is amazing. It's in depth. It's a great character in Billions. And unfortunately, it's not on every channel. So, I mean, you can find it, but it's hard to watch. It's difficult if you're not subscribing to, what is it, Showtime or whatever. It's a great show, though. And this person is amazing, just amazing. And because of who they are, it comes through in their performance. You learn about them. They unfold like, they open up like spring, it doesn't have to be. And then you're not, and it doesn't need to be, guys, it doesn't need to be an all Latino cast and an all black cast. I kind of think the door swings a bit too far. I think Hamilton does it really well. I don't go, wow, that black guy's really good. I go, that guy's really good. And it's just, don't make it a quota. If you're a filmmaker, open the door to all kinds of actors, leave your mind open to all kinds of actors, and someone's going to bring something that you're not used to, and they might not be white. Because back in the day, they were a lot of white people, okay? And the black people got these really, screwy jobs where they were saying, yes, boss. And you were just like, really? And then you think you're past that and we're progressive. And then you watch a Star Wars film that has Jar Jar Binks in it. And my father stood there like this, right next to me, that was like, what are we watching here? How is this possible that this made it to a screen and then was released? Whoa, what I'm saying, okay? Or it can be something a lot more subtle. Spike Lee, Cher. No, Cher did a song and the song made money. Half-breed. It's all ever heard. Half-breed. How I loathe that hated word. Just because you're mixed doesn't mean you're gonna have the half-breed enigma stamped on your head. There might be some times that you're not in your foot, you can't put a foot in one camp or the other camp, but then there's a lot of times you can straddle both camps. So I don't like it when someone assumes that just because I'm a mixed person, I have a chip on my shoulder because I'm angry at my mom and I'm angry at my dad for marrying because I don't fit anywhere. You fit where you choose to fit and you make it work. You just keep going. The best you can be, people like you. Okay. It may not be easy in the beginning, but it can happen. And then if the people that you want to fit in with don't want you to fit in, maybe they're the wrong people. It has nothing to do with their color, has nothing to do with their background. They just could be jerks. Don't go with the jerks. Go with the cool people. You know, define cool people. You guys. Disney and a fan club. Yeah. Yeah. You guys. You guys. You guys who love Disney. You guys who love Marvel. You guys who love Lego. You guys who love being a child at heart. Get with those people. You know, sometimes you're choosing the wrong person and then thinking to yourself, I'm not fitting in. Now, I do remember my sister saying that when she went to, my sister is very intelligent. She's super smart. So she was offered all these colleges, scholarships when she graduated. Me, I had a few moths and a dollar bill when it came for me to go to college, but very creative. But when it came to scholastics, but my sister was amazing and is amazing as far as scholastics are concerned. Not the best people person, but you know, one for the other sometimes, right? Anyway, she went to Notre Dame. She thought she was going to go to Notre Dame, and she found that she had trouble fitting in from one camp to the other. She looks black, and she has darker skin, and she said that she had trouble fitting into there. I think once they got to know her, she would have. Okay, but that happens, that you don't fit in, and you got to kind of think about it. When it's a whole group in another state, that could be different. California is a group that I think I can safely say that we're more about whether or not you're a jerk. If you're a jerk, we're not interested. You know, go over there and be a jerk. You know, which is why some of this jerky behavior that we're seeing in other places, we're like, wow. You know, not that people can't be jerks in California. We got them, right? But that's what you say, man. That guy was a real jerk. What's up with that? You know, why did they do that? You know, yeah. And I would like Teresa and Rain. I already like their names, Joe. They're beautiful names. You know, people got clever with names, didn't they? My parents thought I was a boy until I was born, and they had settled on the name Gary. And then when I was born, they said, what are you naming the baby? And they were like, Sari, Fairy, Terry, you know, and then they spelled it with 2 R's because they didn't want it to be confused with Teresa. So, yeah, my parents were like, oh, it's a girl. Yay. You know, back in the days when you couldn't tell. Yeah, but my mom kind of, you know, did that ring over the belly thing or whatever they do, and they were both really sure I was going to be a boy. The best I could give them was tomboy. Love to climb trees as opposed to wear dresses. I meant Eddie's. Sabrina says I meant Eddie's and Wanda's type of humor in relation to making you laugh first, then think yes. Thank you, Sabrina, for clarifying. Yeah, because you know, whew. Thank you for clarifying. Absolutely. I agree. Wanda's like that too. She does think. And she's got that voice that's kind of in here. I can't nail it, but it's right here. And you listen to that voice and you're kind of like, wow, because that voice causes attention, brings attention, doesn't it? Eddie, I remember he told the story of his father saying, don't say dang. That sounds a lot like damn. And the eyebrow would go up. That was my dad. So Eddie and I felt a kindred spirit with Eddie Murphy. You were talking about a different Eddie, but this Eddie just made me think of Eddie Murphy. So there I go on another tangent, Sabrina. You know me. You knew I was gonna, right? George Clooney directed and starred in the Netflix The Midnight Sky 2 years ago In 2020, he and directed The Tender Bar. Yes, I saw that. Tender Bar is actually, isn't Tender Bar up? No, Tender Bar's not up for Academy Award, is it? For Amazon. I saw that. Yeah. That's another one that wasn't really something that I wrote home about. I was meh on that one. Tender Bar, I was kind of meh on that one. I've seen so many movies. Sometimes I've got to think about what I've seen and then what really like moves me. Like Belfast. The first time I saw it, wasn't sure. But now that I've seen it about 3 times, I like it. Sometimes it takes me more times to watch a movie before I can figure it out. So, but that's usually what it is. And Coda, I think I'm on 4. But Trumbo, which my husband said not a lot of people watch that movie. I'm so sorry if you didn't watch it. It is so good with Cranston, Bryan Cranston of that amazing Breaking Bad. From Breaking Bad. Yeah. He wow. He's good in this. He's really good in this. And what's better about Trumbo is that not only is he good, but Diane Lang is good. The young girl who plays, all the people who play, the people surrounding him are excellent. And if you haven't seen it, keep an eye on the actor who plays Kirk Douglas. Wow. One of the things I love about this movie is they don't really strive to. Trumbo is about Trumbo's life during the Blacklist days. Again, persecution, right? There you go. Comes in many colors, doesn't it? Anyway, there's actors who play certain actors, but what they do is iconic actors that we know is rather than nail the look, they just take like a feature and they kind of run with the feature and let the actor kind of bring that character in. And it may not always work perfectly, but it works succinctly. And I just love this movie. I must have seen it because we have it on Plex. So we talked about this this thing called Plex, Plex, where you can take your DVDs and upload them and create a library. I'm simplifying it a bit. You can, read about it. It's Plex and see if it's anything you want to do. My husband has dedicated years, I think easily during the pandemic. He was like, whoo-hoo, pandemic, I'm home. I'll fill Plex up. It allows you to, put your DVDs on a shelf, and then instead of trying to, look for your DVD and find it, you can create playlists. The movies are listed alphabetically. You can put series up. Series are a little harder for him to upload because they're really involved. A series like Kung Fu, Game of Thrones, Doc Martin, things like that. Movies just pop in, no problem. He put in probably about 20. We must have over 500 movies. So you can just go. He likes to go and watch one movie, but it stops afterwards. And I like to have them roll through. Like, you remember when you had the 6 DVD carousel and it just went like the whole day, it just ran. So that's what I like. So I have a playlist called Quiet Movies, and it has Trumbo. It has Good Luck and Good Night, or Good Night and Good Luck. It has About Schmidt, which is one of my favorite Jack Nicholson movies. I love About Schmidt, and I love the characters surrounding in About Schmidt. It has Coda now as part of it. I'm trying to think of what else it had in there. We thought that Menka for Menkowitz would be good, but there's a woman screaming, so it wakes us up. But anyway, you can make these playlists that you like. We have the Val Lewton playlist. We have the Ray Harryhausen playlist. We have the George Powell playlist. We have the Godfather playlist. So you get all the movies, just one right after the other. Biblical movies that are my thing. Anything biblical, I've got to see at least once. I love it. 10 Commandments was my favorite movie when I was a little kid. I've easily seen it a lot of times. But I love that. Song of Bernadette, Miracle, My Lady Fatima. Greatest story ever told. 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments. Ben-Hur, things like that. Movies that are epic. I don't know. I love biblical films. I really, really love them. They touch my heart, and I love those. Even if they're bad, I have to see them at least once. So I saw, what was it, Noah with Russell Crowe, and I really didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good, but I had to see it once. There was parts that were interesting, but yeah, it didn't really do much for me. I liked Evan Almighty better, with Wanda Sykes, by the way, Sabrina. She was great in that movie. I really loved Evan Almighty. Oh, it's one of my guilty pleasures. But yeah, George Clooney is very good in Good Luck and Good Night, and Tender Bar was good, but I think George Clooney has done better. One of my favorite is Up in the Air, which, if you've never seen that movie, I must have seen this movie about 10 times, maybe more. It's a very strange movie about a man who always flies, but since I fly a lot, and he flies commercial, it's cool. It's a cool movie. I just thought it was, so well done. It was just beautifully done, and I think if you get a chance to see it, you'll like it. It's impressive. So, yeah, it's cool. Up in the Air. Liked it. Loved it. He talks about how you pack your bag so that you can get in and out of your your destination, and why carry on, never check your bag and stuff like that. It's cool. It's very cool. Susan says, life is beautiful. Yes, he is Italian. Yes. So emotional. He flew across the street. What, the seats, wasn't that cool? You remember this, right? Oh, and that movie was gorgeous. Life is Beautiful, not A Beautiful Mind. Beautiful Mind was with Russell Crowe and a Ron Howard film, which was also good. But Life is Beautiful, absolutely. Oh, another movie. And Life is Beautiful is the perfect example of wanting to get a point across without hitting you over the head with it, in my opinion. Okay. And you are left, you can't always watch that movie over and over and over again. You have to be in a certain mindset because it jerks you. It's got teeth. So, but what a beautiful movie. And thank you for the correction, Susan, and thank you for the clarification. I need you guys. I hang on to you guys for that. That's why I don't worry so much, because I know you guys got my back, which I really appreciate. David, how are you? I remember the streaker on the Oscars when David Niven urbanly remarked about showing his shortcomings on live TV. Yes. Wasn't that lovely? And it was perfect for David Niven, right? Oh, duh. Doesn't David Niven strike you as that? Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, isn't that lovely? And one of my favorite movies, which I didn't mention in my biblical collection, is The Bishop's Wife. And if those of you who follow behind the scenes, originally Cary Grant was not supposed to play the angel. He was supposed to play the bishop, and the bishop was supposed to play the angel. And Niven at the time was angry about it all the way through, over and over and over again, and wasn't happy about it. But I can't see it any other way. I think Cary Grant does beautifully as the angel, and I couldn't see them reversed. So I'm grateful of The Bishop's Wife. And then Loretta Young, right? Was that? Yeah. Anyway, everybody in there, including Elsa Lanchester's in there. Chester. Anyway, she's in there, and she's delightful with a high-pitched voice. Oh, the shopping is done. The little girl, all of it. Mwah. Ugh, I love The Bishop's Wife. It's my Christmas movie, actually. Yeah. I love it. I just love it. And I wouldn't mind having that bottle of wine that forever fills. The angel just keeps filling. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Bishop's Wife. It's beautiful, black and white. One of the sequence happens on the ice rink, and you crack up because it's, back in the day, they would, do close-ups of the actors, and then many of the actors never did their own stunts. Stunt people did the stunts. And when you watch the ice rink, you'll get a kick out of it. It's really good. So I remember yes. And the streaker, I remember that too. I remember I was going, but Niven was hilarious, wasn't he? Isn't that right? Did that have anything to do with thanking someone for putting you in their film? No. So my point exactly. Darren says, my friend used to compose the music for the Oscars, originals and montages. Well, that's cool. Did he keep the sheet music? That'd be something to give to your kids and your grandkids, wouldn't it? Here's the sheet music to the music I wrote for the Oscars. Pretty cool. Diane says, I love the Academy Awards. I wish they would acknowledge the movies that make the most money, separate divisions, so my adult children will watch with me. I am so happy it is back in the end of March. My birthday. What a way to celebrate. LOL. Well, happy birthday. I do like it at the end of March myself, because that means that the 31 days of Oscar on TCM go for a few more days after, and it kind of is a great way to celebrate it. There are a lot of films that are acknowledged for their financial prowess, so I disagree with you on this one, but I do think that they should, how can I say this? They should look to see, I mean, this year, a lot of the movies don't feel like they're in the Academy Awards because they're good. They feel like they're in the Academy Awards for different reasons. Some because they're good, some because it feels a little political. I, for the life of me, don't understand why Tick, Tick, Boom isn't in there. Okay, I just thought this movie was brilliant. I thought it was brilliantly acted, brilliantly shot, brilliantly filmed, brilliantly written, brilliantly. It was catchy. I'm not all about singing either. I'm not a musical person. Okay, I'm not about musicals. They tend to annoy me. But my best friend loves them, and she's the one who helped me to at least appreciate some musicals. She actually sat me down and we watched a couple of musicals, and she explained why the musical. Okay. And that was very helpful to me. In fact, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is one of my favorite now. But it took a while because musicals, I'd hear a musical and go, no. But now I'll at least sit through it once. But a lot of people who love certain musicals, I did not like them because I just can't sink my teeth into them. So, but Tick, Tick, Boom was great. It was just so good. It was so beautifully done. It was so heartfelt. It was so warm. And I didn't feel like I was being beaten over the head. I felt like it was giving me the message and helping me to realize what the message was about and discover the message myself instead of going, bam, the message, So I'm really sorry that movie just, I don't know what's up with that, don't get it. But many people say the Academy Awards have become this political platform. And then, Diane, we don't get to watch the things that we like. I like a lot of I really was sad when certain technical awards, I used to have technical awards on TV so I could see them, and a place at least where I could access them, because the technical awards are amazing. All of the innovations into the film industry are acknowledged at this luncheon, and we don't get to see it except for a tiny little blurb during the Academy Awards, So I like it, but it's changed. I've watched every year since I was 3 years old, and I never miss it, and I love it. Last year's was horrible. Okay. Oh, that one was painful. Wished I had pre-recorded it because it was just like stabbing me. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. The one thing I liked about it was when people sat, because they had to social distance, we could actually see the bottom half of the gowns. So I like that last year, but this year, please, I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm just praying that they don't do anything smarmy like they did with Glenn Close, which was like, did anyone ever believe that? Did anyone find that believable? Zero, right? Yeah, no. But I can't watch them with anybody else in the room. My husband locks me in a room with them, and then he just listens to me scream and yell at the TV for people's choices of hair, makeup, and dress. I'm just not, I'm a talk back to, you do not want to watch the Academy Awards with me. I'm the wrong person. They're not removing the 8 categories entirely. They're awarding them before the show. That's showing edited versions of the winners. Exactly. They did a luncheon, as I understand it. The broadcast still sucks. Yeah. I mean, I think they need to be there. I mean, it's like the technical awards. Okay. What they're doing, Joe, is doing it the same as the technical awards. They gave people a luncheon. Now, what the actors said about the luncheon was it was really fun to have this more intimate luncheon because there was more time for them to talk and visit with each other instead of being, set in a row and a row and a row and a row and a row like bowling pins. So a lot of them kind of like the luncheon atmosphere, which is the way they do the Screen Actors Guild Awards. So people can hi, how are you? Have time to visit, not just sort of sit, wait, watch. Person next to me is who I'm talking to, yeah. So, yeah. Look, Joe's for real. This is the same retro guy. Okay, now I'm over here. Yeah, I see you. I see you over here. Now your name's there. I lived in Austin from 2013 to 2016. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and there's not enough housing for everyone or space for their cars. It used to be this sleepy little funky town that attracted hippies and Willie Nelson. Man, it was a great place. I went there in 2016, which is probably when you were coming out, to do this forensic sculpting class, and it was the flippin' best. But it was just starting to get to where it is today, and my friends in Austin say it's hell over there. They just don't say it's cool at all. Now everybody and his grandmother lives over there, true. Yeah. So I warn people, unless Elon Musk is going to help those roads widen and fix those roads over there, why stay over there? Well, again, the finances. That's why a lot of people are going over there. Sabrina, I think, she says, and somehow I think we get the same number of pumpkins in the Mustang as a Jeep. Yeah, Sabrina sculpts with me. And my Mustang is a convertible. So what I'll do is I'll put the top down and then I'll load it with these humongous pumpkins, and transport them. Because Sabrina, she'll usually ride with me and she'll sculpt her pumpkin, and we need to make sure that her pumpkin can get to her house to be on our porch and stuff like that. So, yeah, but if I've got to take a few big pumpkins during pumpkin season, it's amazing how many I can fit in that car with the top down. And then people see this Mustang with a full of giant pumpkins and they think, what the heck, but she's right. Yeah. More than in the Jeep, I think, actually. It's probably because Teslas are symbolic of change away from internal combustion engines. Some people have associated that with older technology and what they define as America, and they're afraid of change. That could be right, Joe. I hear you. That could be the case. Of course, I don't know. They may have been converted with the gas prices that are rising, right? Yeah, and a lot of people are saying it's not necessarily the Ukraine, and we kind of know that, right? That there are people out there that are just going to gouge you. They're going to use the excuse, oh, it's them, and I have to raise the prices so I can build my beach house. Whoops. I mean, because the gas is expensive. There are people out there that cheat the system. We've seen them, we felt it, and hopefully they're not doing that, because a lot of people are like, I can't even afford the gas. I'm fortunate to work mostly at home. So a gas tank, I mean, my goodness, since the pandemic, a gas tank lasts me over a month. So when you figure that, well, I don't even know what it is to fill it, but when you can span it, when you can space it over a month, that's kind of cool. That's helpful. But if you're like a Uber driver or a Lyft driver, taxi driver, hopefully you're comforting. I heard that Uber and Lyft made helped the drivers with that a little bit, but is it enough? It's just, and if you commute to your work, like say from Long Beach, or down from Palmdale, because you got that house that you could afford, and now you're in traffic as the gas just burns. It's rough, it's really rough. And so more and more people are taking public transportation during the pandemic, which can be a little bit scary, be scary for a multitude of reasons, including the pandemic. So, hopefully, I always loved taking the train when I was doing jury duty, going to the courthouse. But with the pandemic, you're like, is that going to be a good thing? You just gotta, is that going to be a good thing? You just don't know. And people are a little, I don't know, people seem crazier to me. And so I'm just grateful my husband didn't have to go in. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm just glad he didn't have to take the train. I'm just grateful, he's home, working from home. Love it. Do you remember Magic Highways USA on the Disney anthology series? It predicted self-driving cars with huge glass bubble tops while the family inside sit at a table having dinner. Kind of like, yes, I remember that. And when you say this, it reminds me of Road Rage with Goofy. That one, do you remember he would pull in and then the hook would grab his car and pull it? Those were great. It's interesting to see what people from the past thought the future was going to be like and what the future actually is. So the one you're talking about, it's not a bubble, but the Hummer, the first Hummer I was in, the back had like an area where you could set up a table and eat. We went to In-N-Out Burger. The guy was the director of the Animaniacs and was also directing one of the things that one of the shows I was involved in. And he took us in his Hummer. I'd never been in a Hummer. I'd never seen a Hummer back then. And he said it gets six miles to the gallon. Whew, if you own a Hummer, what's that like? But anyway, we could barely fit through the In-N-Out lane. That thing was so flipping big. But then he just made this spread in the back. It was like a table, and we all just, parked the car, sat around the table and chatted inside the Hummer while we did it, just like you're talking about, Joe. It was really cool, but not a car I wanted. I love to park. I like to be able to park. I get really cranky if I can't park, and that car needs space. When they came with what is it called? The HH2, where it was a little more parkable and a little more fuel efficient, I thought that was a good move for the Hummer industry to make that more parkable, drivable car. Because seriously, he said it was about 6 miles to the gallon on that big Hummer that he had. So he said you got to have more than one car to move around in. But it was a beauty. There's no pride in being a bully. So true. Absolutely true. There isn't. A lot of times it stems from issues that are going on in your life and you're just bullying someone else because your life sucks. So that's no excuse. But a lot of times if you dig deep, that can be the reason. Or there shouldn't be anyway. Yes, I agree with you, Sabrina, 100%. 100%. It's so terrible that people think they can act out so aggressively against someone else and not seeing the human being in another car or a human being. You remember the poor Asian woman who was walking down the street and a guy just punches her and the guard steps he doesn't go to help her. He steps inside the store. Now, the reality being there was no sound there. So what happened is that the store owner told him, don't you get involved. Because I think when I watched it, and I didn't get to see it a lot, he was going to. He makes a move like a bend or a forward when he suddenly steps back. So it's kind of like this. And that's because the owner of the store told him, don't go out. So now he had to decide his job and helping someone. And sometimes, I think he should have still helped her, but that was just devastating to me. I thought, how can you? And then there was these two women in a mall with they had their little 4-year-old with them. And you know how you're in the mall and you lead your little 4-year-old with you and he points at everything and wants it all. The tree, the rocks, every food item, anything in Disney. This guy walks by and punches the little kid. He's just walking. They're just walking and he punches the little kid. Of course, the women, and this is why you never mess with mama bears, they tackle him and sit on him until someone can get him and arrest him. Yeah, they tackle that son of a gun. She bit with her purse or whatever, and he falls to the ground and they sit on that fool, and he's not moving. You're not going to do that to my child, or anybody else's for that matter. But what was it? What did this little kid do that made this guy do this? I mean, and if he did something that was legitimate, excuse me, what the heck? Pick on someone your own size, fool. But luckily, he made a mistake hitting that little boy. And hopefully those two women showed him. But I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that. I looked at that and said, what the heck? What? I feel that the internet is that way too because of, yes, you are, Audrey, you are so correct. You are so correct. People can hide behind these words, can't they? Doesn't have to be their face. They can be absolutely as nasty as they want to be. And the point you make is a very strong one. So that if you are on the receiving end of this, if you can just delete the haters, block the haters, and not be affected by the haters, I'm going to urge you to do that. Read and look at the people who care about you. I'm not saying it's easy, okay? But Audrey's right. There are people out there that say things just to be mean and nasty because they can, and they're not seen. You know, if they said some of these things that they say on the internet to your face, they'd get retribution, wouldn't they? They'd at least get a word back, right? But in this case, she's so right, and it's just so frustrating. I've talked about a show on Netflix that I like called the Tinder, 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 that website where people date, the Tinder Swindler. And I was so impressed by that film / documentary because I felt myself being hypnotized by this person. I'm happily married. There's no way there's no way, I'm 60 some years old, 65, actually, almost 65 when my birthday comes up in a couple months. And I couldn't believe how the way the story was told, that I was kind of falling for that Cinderella feeling. And I thought, wow, what is going on with this guy? How is it that they found out he wasn't for real? And if you get a chance to watch it, it's on Netflix. If you've got Netflix, please watch it. And the women talk about how they tried to let other women know about this guy, and they got blasted on Twitter and on the various social medias for being stupid. And if you aren't in it, you don't know. Ka was able to hypnotize in the Jungle Book because he was good at it, and these people are too. So don't watch it and judge these women. Look at it and make sure that you listen to their message, which is don't believe everything you see. I mean, in today's world, when you swipe, that face might not even be the same person that you're looking at. And there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, where the woman is excited because she's dating a guy online, and she wants to meet him, and he keeps coming up with excuses as to why they can't meet. So her assistant calls in a team that investigates people like that, and they find out it's some toothless guy in a trailer park. He's been using pictures that he's found on the internet to represent himself and having sex talk with all these. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I don't know how you guys date today. If you're this thing. And some of you get lucky and find your soulmate that way. But wow, it's got to be a challenge, isn't it, for you guys? I mean, I hope that things open up so you can kind of judge a person through their eyes and through their heart and not their looks. Because looks ain't, I mean, it could be someone, you could be looking at a picture that's not even them. I don't know how that, I'm too old to try and understand that stuff. This swipe right or whatever. Yeah, I'm grateful. It makes me thank my husband every day. I look at him and say, thank you for being my Prince Charming and finding me, Prince. Thank you. What you mean it's a little cloudy, huh? Sucker, the sun gotta always shine for your selfish behind, huh? Joe, you're hilarious. I didn't do that as well as you probably could have done it, but I got the message. So funny. Paul, I hope you're still on there, that you got to see that. That's pretty funny. Seems a lot of current activism is half-baked and very misdirected, in turn not accounting for the people actually affected rather than the actions being taken. So, Sabrina, how do you feel about these Disney walkouts? I think they were pretty genuine myself. I was really touched by the fact that there were walkouts here in California when it's happening in Florida. It just goes to say that kindred hearts are kindred hearts, and they're connected no matter how far away you are, And I got to show you something, because I'm going to do this, but I got to show you something that Evan Hunter sent. We have a thing called Terry's the treasure chest in Terry's tribe on Patreon. And want to make sure that I put this back the way that I originally saw it so you can see what I see here. I think that's it. I think that works. Anyway, that's the way I saw it when Evan gave it to me. So what's happening is many people in the tribe send me things to put in the treasure chest for the giveaway. And we do a giveaway once a month of things I find while cleaning my garage. And it's mostly Disney stuff. It's cute, cool stuff. It can be a Disney collectible pin, or it can be a figure. Somebody gave me, it can be wishables. It can be blankets. It can be, it can be anything I find, right? And then you don't have to do anything. You have a number assigned to your name, and when I pull it out, you win that prize, right? It's just to say thank you, and it's also to clean my garage. But I'm going to show you this, and Evan Hunter was in Israel, and he bought things for the tribe that would go for the treasure chest. Many people do this. Many tribe people send me things for the treasure chest. But look how this right here makes a heart. Can you see that? How this looks like a heart shape? Right here, he bought this in Israel, and it's a little like, it can be a makeup bag. It could be, anyone who loves Mickey or Goodie Bag or loves Disney. Okay, but what it really is Mickey Mouse. See, it's got the little insignia here. Isn't that little stitch right there? So see, it's Mickey Mouse. But when I saw it, it was this heart. It was full. See how it kind of overlaps? And I've been opening it up. But this is the way I saw it. And I was like, why did Evan give me a heart? See how it makes that heart? Isn't that interesting? The heart of Disney. Disney should be about heart, Isn't that cute? Anyway, this is one of the things that's in the treasure chest. And most importantly, the first thing I saw was a heart. And Evan said, wow, I didn't see that. But it kind of made its own little statement by being folded just the way he had stored it in his luggage. So I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty cool. And that's what we need to have, is make it about heart. Make it about your heart. Joe says, for a short time when I worked at Disneyland in the summer of 90, I did live next door, literally, to Disneyland. It was a little flea bag motel just outside of the Frontierland berm. That's not there anymore. I know. Yeah. Did you like falling out of bed into Disneyland? My friend Stephanie, she's 5 minutes away. She can watch the fireworks. And she always talks about how much she loves that. She never tires of it. But the Disney Dream Pass fits for her. You may be paying, what is it, $1,300. But if you're going 363 days out of 365 days, that's a bargain, baby. Isn't it? Yeah, that's a real bargain, especially if you get parking. So for me, we all talked about without parking, it probably takes about 8 visits. I'm going to be down to 4 visits as of May, I think. Yeah, as of May, I will have 4 visits. So I only have 4 more to go before my pass expires. But I will also, in the evening, when I'm out, especially for this Legends thing, if people say, hey, let's see if we can get to pop over to Disney for a bite or a cocktail or a Dole Whip or a soda or whatever, then we can pop into California Adventure or the other one just before closing and really have some fun, because most of the people have left. Some stay till midnight, and of course you could pop in for the fireworks if there's room. But a lot of people usually stay till the fireworks and then they leave after the fireworks. So it'd be cool to go for the last few hours after the fireworks. So if you live close, these passes are great. If you're far away, it might not be the best investment for you. And if you live close to Walt Disney World and they have a full-time pass, a Dream Key type pass like that, which they do. I forget what they call it, but they do. Now you've got Animal Kingdom, Disney. I don't know if the pass gets you into all the parks or not. I don't remember. I thought it did because I got into Epcot. And I bought the pass when I was running so I could go to Epcot because that's my favorite park. So I can't remember. But if it gets you to all the parks, oh my goodness, just imagine how much fun you'd have if you live near the parks and you're in Florida. You just pop into the park, which park today? So it's really about your situation, you as an individual, and how it works for you. But those of us who live in California, Southern California, we just, go for dinner, go for shopping. Hey, there's some new merchandise, or there's a new popcorn bucket. We'll pop in and see if we can go check out the popcorn bucket, or whatever. You know, you got to have a fritter and a mint julep. Go over and get it. Yeah, it becomes about being more casual and more social. There, when you have the pass, you can meet other pass holders and see if you can get reservations. I mean, it is a little more challenging now than when it was, you could just fall into the park. That I used to do that all the time and just love to go there for just a couple hours and visit with people. So I miss that. But that's what we're talking about, is literally, as Joe says, falling in and enjoying it for that. Audrey says, I think Stitch Crashes Disney is a series of Stitch Pluses themed after very classic Disney movies. There's a really cute one. Cute ad for it here. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to take a picture of this because I love to learn about this. Green one caught my eye, and I got, I have to tell you, I got I had somebody gave me a gift card. I think it was Evan, actually, but it might have been Travis. People are so generous. And so I used my gift card to get this little Stitch because I like Stitch. I like Tigger too. I think they should do it with Tigger. You can have green Tigger, blue Tigger, Crayola Tiggers. Yeah, that would be cute. Anyway, I'm going to take a picture of that so I can go later. I know there's a much more sophisticated way, but I'm going to do it the unsophisticated way because that's where my technology, but they're really well made. They're so well made. And I'm really about things that are made well for you guys to have. If you have a plush, let's have one that doesn't fall apart the next day when you look at it, But those are cute. Really cute. So thank you for that, Audrey. I'm going to check it out. Johnny Johnson, I miss you, man. Every time I think about you, I'm thinking about Yak and Yeti and going to your outlet store to find the Figment popcorn bucket, which I believe is going to be there. I just can't help but think you're going to come across a Figment popcorn bucket in the outlet store, and you got to buy me one so I can just laugh. I'm going to give it to the tribe. I'm going to put it to the tribe. But everybody was going gaga, and people are trying to sell it for $200 or $300 on eBay, and I'm just thinking that it's like John was telling me about those, Mummy Mickeys. And later on, the Mummy Mickey popcorn bucket, which was so popular, showed up at the outlet store for Disney employees. So you just never know what the frenzy can be about, can be fake. Is that tummy medicine you're drinking? No. It's my shake. Usually I make an Herbalife shake, but if I'm super late, which I was today, I have a backup shake that I can put in, and it's protein shake. So that, because I'm on air, well, I start at 7:30 setting up for my broadcasts on Mondays and Fridays. And then I broadcast from about an hour on my Patreon page. And then I jump over to this, and then this one goes as long as it goes. We started at 9:30 today, and it's almost noon. So this is a normal occurrence. Somebody says, 5 hours of talking can be exhausting. I'm like, really? And this is a short session. This one is only a little over 2 hours, where during the pandemic, I could talk as many as 4 hours on one of these broadcasts, because many of you said that I was the only Disney connection that uplifted them, and they were feeling depressed and sad and going to dark places. So I spoke and chatted with you as long as you needed during the pandemic. So there was a time on Fridays I would start at 8:30 broadcasting and wouldn't be done till 3. So basically what that means is that I can talk. Surprise, I'm talking. But I thought it was important to be here for you guys, and that's why Patreon is so helpful. That helps me to at least dedicate these days when you need it. I'm discovering that my channel here, and please subscribe if you haven't already. The channel here is so we can discuss things that you might not be able to discuss. If you want to ask me something specific, you can. Patreon is about issues where we dig a little deeper because it's a private page, and we support each other and talk about art and talk about creativity on all levels. Right now, my friend Melissa is talking about cleaning tips, which helped me a lot. And so it's great. It's great. Whatever you're passionate about, you can talk about and we can share and stuff like that. So, what I'm trying to say is if I don't eat for that many hours, I can feel lightheaded and it could be dangerous. So I have to make sure I get food in the morning, and I don't necessarily feel like having breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30. So then I'll just grab a shake if I'm late. Like today, I think I woke up at by the time I was ready to come out here, it was already after 8. So I had to run and get things done. So I grabbed that shake. So that's what that is. Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. It's not like Pepto-Bismol or anything. Thanks for asking. I'm surprised Chapek hasn't added coin slots to all the toilets. Ooh, careful what you suggest. Watch out. Remember how that used to be like in certain places and you'd crawl under, you'd slide under? The mere thought of that now and how filthy and creepy those floors could be. But that's what we used to do, right? We slid right under so we didn't have to pay the toilet toll, right? That was a scary thought right there. A shiver. Joe. Yeah. Hi, Robert. They've always cared about money. They're a business. They used to be better at masking it and creating the magic. Robert, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. You know that as a business, you have to make money. And for a while, our stock in Disney was shooting right up, wasn't it? It was very nice. Dividends were very kind. But it was because it was all about the magic. They were creating things that made people excited and selling out. They were doing these events that people were jumping on. I think there's another event I happened to cross my feed. I don't know what it was that sold out really fast. Those are the kind of things. And then you deliver on that event. Okay. So not only do you offer the event and everybody buy the event, but then you make the event memorable. And that's what they did for a while. Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun, cool, and exciting. But now the mask has come down and they don't seem to be concerned about creating an experience for you, just raising prices and saying that's the way it's going to be. Bite me, it's kind of what you get the feeling of, and they got to be careful because there will be a breaking point where I think Disney people will say enough, but maybe not, maybe I'm looking like the people will have their day soon, but I don't know. I just would like Disney to care a little bit more. Yep. Joe says, on the drinking fountains, do they still have drinking fountains? On drinking fountains, do they still have drinking fountains at Disneyland? They have them, but I don't know if they're operable because of COVID. I know that before Toontown was closed down, that there were all sizes of drinking fountains over there near Mickey's, where you could meet Mickey and Minnie. So there were drinking fountains there. I'm trying to remember where else. There used to be drinking fountains, but I do know that because of COVID, they stopped those for a while, and I don't know if they'll bring them back. What say you guys? Do you guys know anything about drinking fountains? Robert Anderson's always no. They didn't overcharge you and nickel and dime you every time you turned around. Back when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, they had free attractions and entertainment. And you didn't have to get a second mortgage and plan out your visit a year in advance. You could go on the spur of the moment. See, that's a debate. I'm just saying. That's a debate between Joe and Robert. And that's the way you debate. You state your case. And now Robert gets to answer. What does Robert say? But that's a debate, guys. That's a proper debate. Debates are good. My point is they're always been in business to make money. Free was included with admission. And yes, it's gotten out of control for many. It's more difficult to go for a day spur of the moment, you see? Now, Robert is saying, you're right. You're absolutely right, Joe, but they've always been about money. They just masked it more. And free was not, in Robert's statement is, free was already included in the price of admission, so was it really free or a free in quotes? Now, yes and no, we'll have to, we'd have to see. But that's a really interesting, it's interesting, something to think about. Yeah. I'm going to join you on Patreon as soon as I get my retirement check. Diane, we can't wait till you come on. We have got great people and your voice will be wonderful. We're so excited. There's actually a way you can pay for a full year now. I'm now a Patreon ambassador. And so as an ambassador, when you have a page and you're creator on Patreon, if I may talk about that a little bit, things happen that you wish they would fix or they would do, just like many have said, many have said, you put it out there and then you make changes. Okay. You adjust as you go, as you see what works and what doesn't work, you change your recipe, don't you? Patreon is the same way. So now they are looking to make changes. And so one of the changes I keep asking for is gift memberships and sponsorships that you can do for someone, like a high school graduation present. I've had many people wanting to do that so that they can get this good dose of positive energy and why you should go for what you believe. Don't let people tell you that what you're going for is stupid. And here's why, stuff like that. So we'd love to have you. And one of the things that came out from that, Diane, was that you can register for a full year. And if that's easier, and a few of my group does, because, $5 a month, $60 a year, you do it for the year and you're done. It's new to me, so I couldn't tell you specifically how to do it, but when you're ready, if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that. Some people like month to month because months are volatile. And sometimes they'll step out and step back in, like the hokey pokey. They'll do a little dance, which is fine for me too. And what if it's not appealing to you? Which I'm going to tell you, I think it's appealing to everyone. But I said the other day, if you're an actor and the person says, "What do you like to do?" and you say, "I can do anything," they look at you and think you're goofy. They'd much rather you be specific about what you can do if you're auditioning as an actor. So it's the same with the Patreon. I can't assume that I believe it's for everybody, but I can't assume it's for everybody. Some people may go in there and think it's just a bit too rah-rah, but we need rah-rah in our life. And I'm someone who is your biggest cheerleader. And so you get to talk to me directly about things that are affecting you directly. And I get to address it directly, as do the rest of the tribe. And that's very helpful. Okay. That's very helpful. We had a cast member who had a specific question about something about them, and he put it to the tribe because it's private. And I was not the one who came up with the solution. One of the tribe people did. And that's what's so impressive. It's just so impressive that there's so many facets to that diamond, which is Terri's tribe, that I'm honored to be a member of it. And I'm grateful to Michelle Tate for forcing me to join Patreon. And she did. She twisted my arm a lot. And then went on a cruise, a stinker. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And it's a group of I don't have a gazillion followers, okay? I am impressed with artists who do. And I'm watching to see what they do to make sure their people are well taken care of. But the followers I have and the part of the tribe's a good size. I'm happy and want more, of course. But, yay for us, right? Yeah, yay for us. It's a good group. Sure, I'm not saying that we're ever a charity, but they used to be affordable for working families. Yes, they did. And Walt regularly made special accommodations for people of lesser means. Yes, he did. So that is correct. Walt was also an executive. So there were times that he made people angry too. But I mean, you can't please everybody. So, but you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think during the time of Iger, there were some really nice shifts that happened occasionally through Disney too. And you can always tell when the people are happy because the stock goes up. And right now, they're taking money, 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 and the stock is like this, guys. It's not like this. It's like this. And I don't understand how you can look at this and say what you're doing is good. It's what it reads. All that money's coming in, and our stock looks like this. So that there's a message, a very blatant black and white message. If Chapek would just look at it, everything is not awesome, obviously, because our stock is like this. But that's what I'm thinking. If you hire a binary actor to portray a furniture mover, that would be a binary. He's back. You may remember Joe from the early times when I used to only have my cell phone as my only camera. He used to be full of this. This is how we actually got to know each other, was these kind of play on words. Thank you, Joe. On the not wanting to be the token, but also sometimes taking it to open those doors thought, did you see the Rita Moreno documentary? I felt it covered that dynamic as well and offered a good perspective to those who didn't have it otherwise. Yeah. I thought the documentary is better than West Side Story. That's all I'm going to say. You have this opportunity to do West Side Story the way you think it should be done. Let's say that you watched West Side Story originally and you looked at Natalie Wood and you looked at some of the characters and you said, it'd really be great if people of those cultures, if Puerto Ricans played Puerto Ricans, et cetera, which I'm not against at all. What I am against is tracing the movie. Did we need to do the movie the way it was done back then at the time of Natalie Wood's? I found this really boring. And then to ham fist put this scene with Rita Moreno in where she doesn't have a lot to do. She kind of pops in and says something, and then she pops out again like those Coming Soon, Walking Dead 2, and sliding out. It bothered me. It really bothered me. And I love Steven Spielberg. I've worked with Steven Spielberg, but I really thought this movie didn't hit it for me. West Side Story was lazy. I mean, back then, that's the way musicals were done. Welcome to the Hollywood Players, the Hollywood Dancers. They all did the choreography. This was then. You don't necessarily dance like that anymore. So wouldn't it have been great to do a West Side Story where the issues are still there? I grant you that. But the dancing is different. The attitudes are different. We are not in the 19 when that was made. We're in the year 2000. And all I'm saying is if you're going to remake it with Puerto Ricans, if that's a better way to say it, upgrade it, make it West Side Story, but do it in the now, because I don't want to watch the same movie with different faces. It feels like color forms. You remember those things? Color forms you used to do as a kid? If not, if they were these sticky things and you could color forms and build people and stuff, you could build people in your image. That's what it felt like to me. It just didn't. And I love Rita Moreno. I was so excited to see it because of her. She said it's different now. It really wasn't. It really wasn't. It was so disappointing for me to watch that movie. Now, I told you I'm not about musicals, but I love West Side Story. I really do. I love the music. And I love the character she portrayed. That was my favorite character. But to just copy, I hate tracing. I like to trace, but I don't like it to be my final picture. I hate tracing. I love movie making, not movie tracing. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like movie tracing. And you're Spielberg. You're the Steven Spielberg. You're more than this, man. You're more than this. Don't trace it. You could have, brought it forward. I don't think you do Romeo and Juliet with guns. That was a little weird. But okay, that was a lot weird. But you could have brought it into with the dancing. Dancing has changed. I've seen it. Who hasn't seen it? Just tune in TikTok. It really is a no-brainer. You know, there's tons of people. They're all this dancing you could have done. That's today. The gangs just would have been doing today's dancing, bring it forward. So now I could watch Natalie Wood's movie and I could watch the Spielberg movie and not feel like I fell asleep and it's rerunning. I really think about this, guys. I really love story. I love story. And I love when it's a good story, and I love when you take it to the next level. A series, okay. The Time Machine. Rod Taylor. Big Dish. Ooh, George Powell. Ooh, Morlocks. Ooh, Eloy. Wow. Okay. Then later, they did a movie called Time After Time. With, was it Mary Steenburgen? You say her name? And it was H.G. Wells traveling forward after Jack the Ripper. Was that not cool? Was that not the Time Machine? Do I not have both side by side? Watch this one because they're both cool. Because this director, producer, and team stepped it up, modernized it, made it interesting, made it different. Still the Time Machine, told in a different way. Now I can love both. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ay. It's my problem with West Side Story. It's my problem. It's just my problem. I think it's weird to see modern day people dancing like the 50s. It's weird. They don't do that. Except for maybe in theater when they're doing, Bye Bye Birdie, So it was a real problem for me. All I wanted him to do is to make it, there's no problem. You could have the same story. You could have the same template. Just bring it to the year 2000. Please, Lord. Man, that was a hard watch for me. Poor Ahmed Best. He almost committed suicide over the backlash against Jar Jar. Yeah, I hope he didn't. Because it's not about that. But, sometimes people... And that's because you could be isolated. In all fairness to Ahmed, I remember I had a friend who was in an all-white neighborhood. And she went to college and met her first black person. She stared. She had never seen one in person. She'd never seen a person of color. She was in one of those white bread neighborhoods where they were all white. She's a kid. What's she going to control? Right? Then she starts going to school and she sees all these different colors. And of course she stares. Think of us all as a box of crayons and you're grabbing the purple. That's a cool color, that purple. You know what I mean? So tolerance. All right. But that Jar Jar Binks was a miss. And what surprises me is how did it get all the way up to being broadcast in the movie on the screen? Okay. You know how old people are full of stories? Brings me to another story. I should have a rocking chair. Sean brings me to another story. Years ago, I worked for a company. When you're young, you're bouncing, you're flitting from job to job to job to job. I don't know how you can do that now because people are demanding that the minimum wage be like an income for your life, which is not what it was really supposed to be ever, but I digress. It was a way for you to kind of climb the ladder and learn about business right out of college. But I took this job, silk screening, which is a process where there is areas laid down and you take a squeegee and squeeze it onto a t-shirt. And it goes past the blocked areas to create a picture or a letters and stuff. And they were team shirts, okay? So they were supposed to say Ohio on the sleeve. And my boss was silk screening all of these sleeves. there were 100 shirts, which means there were 200 sleeves. And he had gotten the frame upside down. So I sew, and those of you who sew know that a sleeve flat has the shoulder that scoops like this and then goes like this. It kind of, you know what I mean? It looks like a little mountain with two sides, and then this. And this is the sleevey part that your arm goes out, and then this bump is the shoulder. So he had it the other way. He had this up here, and he had the mountain below, like sagging, and he was putting that on. So when the shirts sleeves were sewn in, it said "Oi ho." Now there I sat, knowing sewing, and I saw this happening. And I wanted to say something, but my friend held me back and said, "No, they'll fire you." And I needed this job. And I kept saying, but they're going to print 200 sleeves that say "Oi ho," not Ohio. And he needs to know. But my friend was like, "Don't do it. You're going to get fired. You're going to get fired. They'll catch it. There's a group of people who inspect the shirt specifically for stuff like that. Leave it alone." So I decided to test the waters. I went up to my boss and I said, "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about these sleeves." And he's like, "Terry, I don't have time for you right now and your shenanigans. Will you just get out?" And I'm going, "My shenanigans? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You always have something to say about the way I do stuff. I'm the boss. Get over it. Get back." Seriously, he said that. "I'm the boss. Stop trying to help me do my job. I've done this longer than you. Get away." And I'm like, but get away. Okay. So now I've tried. He's dissed me and said, "Get away, little being." And so I had to. Oh man, I had to. Well, you know the ending of this story without me telling you. It went all the way past the inspectors, wrapped up in 200 shirts, were sent to I guess it was a hockey team in Ohio. You imagine how they felt when they saw their state on their sleeves, spelled backwards on 100 shirts? What do you think that client did to that owner? Wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty at all. So just like I said, sometimes people don't see it because there's things they don't know. And although I thought this character was horrible, I just couldn't understand how it got all the way to being delivered to us, the client, so we could be, what? Some people are clueless. And Lord love them, they're just clueless. I don't know if this is this guy, but I'd like to think clueless before I thought racist. In my opinion, I don't want to go to the angry word first. I thought he was clueless, honestly. My grandkids, who are Black and one biracial, we're little kids and love Jar Jar. They giggle their little heads off every time he was on camera. Yeah, my father was offended. So Diane, bless the little kid who's giving it the best. My father, oh, the black half of my family. Ooh. We are not amused. They were really not amused. Yeah. It was a big owie. Yep. Same with Ebonics. Remember that? Yeah, it's another thing my father loves to talk about in not a good way. Terry going on a tangent. What? Never, ever. Not me, Sabrina. I saw Trumbull. Excellent film. It's the best. I watch it over and over and over again. Cranston is brilliant. He's a very good actor, very versatile. I'd like to see him in more stuff before he's killed. What movie was that where he's like killed in 5 minutes? And we're like, really? But he is so good in it. So good. It just, and if you watch it more and more and more, Joe, it gets better and better and better and better. And if you're going to hit me, I'd like to remove my glasses first. I mean, a dude like that who has such conviction. I'm not as convicted as that. I'm not as dedicated, strong like that. But that guy, he was, and you look at somebody like that. And I read his book after, and the book is incredible. A little bit challenging to read, and that might not be because the book is challenging to read. It's just challenging for Terry to read, because who has time to sit and read a book? So I read a chapter before I went to bed every night. That's how I got through it. So it took me, several months to read that book. But for most of you, you could probably read it in a New York minute. But it's a really good book, and it's the book that the movie was based on. And it's great to read that. Made me read that book, and I think a movie does its job if it makes you read the book. So I love it. About Schmidt was a great movie, says Richard. The chemistry between Kathy Bates and Jack Nicholson is awkwardly perfect. This movie, when Jack Nicholson, Richard, was a young man, I could not stand him in films, including Chinatown. Okay. Everybody loved Chinatown, and I loved Chinatown except for Jack Nicholson. It just wasn't. For me, it was just painful, and I can't even tell you why. And I really didn't like him in Witches of Eastwick, where he's supposed to be the sexy character, and I saw nothing sexy about him. I just saw an old turtle. I remember thinking, who thinks this old turtle is sexy? But then he started to do these movies once he got older, like About Schmidt, like Something's Gotta Give, like the other one, As Good as It Gets. And these movies, even Bucket List, these movies are just amazing. And he spoke to us. Screen actors have these things where the actor sits and talks to actors. Actor to actor is amazing. We don't have many of those right now because of the pandemic, but it was fantastic. I mean, we're starting to get those now. We're getting better with those, but a lot of them were virtual this year and was wonderful because, unfortunately you don't get the, it's not as organic because you got the camera staring at you. You don't get the, but anyway, he was saying that he wanted to do what is it? The Something of Ayla that Tommy Lee Jones got to do, the Valley of Ayla or whatever. And he called to ask if he could audition, and they said, no, you do too much comedy. We want someone who's a serious actor. And he was like, see what I mean? How quickly they forget, what you did. And he was a serious actor all the time. I think he's really good at a lot of this comedy because it's kind of dry and strange and odd. He's just really good. And so I love him in About Schmidt. I think he's very, very brilliant. And for this movie, Kathy Bates said, you want me to what? Be naked? She said, who wants to see that on camera? Me naked. And I just think she is adorable because she's wonderful in that movie. And the fact that she just, went for it shows her beauty as an actress. So charming and wonderful is that movie. And if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. But she said, wow, she was so nervous about that scene and so uncomfortable, but they made it, they helped her with it. And she's a professional and she does a great job in it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's a great, great movie. And I watch it over and over and over again. Thanks for saying that, Richard. Terry, I sent you an invite to join my classic movie Facebook group. I think you'd enjoy it. Anyone else is welcome to contact me if you want the link. Okay, I'll check it out. I will. I don't get on Facebook as much as I should, and I don't get on these things. This is my speed, so I get to talk to you guys, and then you guide me somewhere, and I go and pop in and look at it and stuff. So it's great. Mark Silverman. I agree with you, Mark. That's the problem. What's up with these people and not seeing Tick, Tick, Boom? What, they didn't get the DVD in the mail? Man, I've got 3. So what is the reasoning that they didn't? And you could stream it if you're in the Academy. You could stream it if you're Screen Actors Guild, Writers Guild. It was really out there. And I just don't know why it was completely overlooked. I love the actor who played the lead, and then he was also the husband in the Story of Tammy Faye Baker. And then he did a 3rd movie, Mark. What was that? He was a busy actor last year. He did some stuff, and everyone is unique. I love this guy ever since Hacksaw Ridge. Just woof. Whenever he is going to do something, I don't care what it is, he is just so brilliant. I think that if he was going to drink a soda, I would want to watch it because it'd be the best soda drinking I ever saw. I just think this guy is incredible. Lord, let me save one more. Just let me save one more. If you haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, just oh, Mel Gibson, if you're listening, that's your legacy, buddy. I always thought it was Braveheart, but this one just is amazing. It's got so much heart and so much strength. And I remember showing it to everybody I could because I was campaigning for it to win. And people looked at me like I was crazy because it was so violent in the beginning. But that's why I tell you, sometimes you got to get past the violence to get to the message. And sometimes the violence is essential. In this one, it is essential and it is brilliant. So if you haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, I do not remember this actor's name. I know you will do it because I just look for that cute little face. And that guy is just so versatile. So versatile. And Tick, Tick, Boom. Every time he smiles, he lights up the screen. And he's so endearing as that lead character. He's so good, Mark. He's so good. How the heck did the movie about a kid selling waterbeds in the 70s get nominated? Oh, I know, right? Wait a minute. Because everybody thought that movie was really cool. And I really didn't like it either. It didn't do anything for me either. Maybe if you're younger, Mark, no offense to you, but anytime I don't get a movie, I wonder if it's because I'm approaching 65 and I want good story. I just pray for good story. I just like, please, just give me a good story. You know, I don't ask for much. I don't want effects. I don't want virtual experience. I want a good story. So I don't know. That licorice pizza is what Mark is talking about. And yeah. Tick, Tick, Boom was nominated for Best Actor and Best Film Editing. Yes, it has, but not for Best Picture. And it would have been a real contender because it's very, very good. It's very, very good. At least they recognize him as an actor, but would have been nice to recognize the director and the group that made that film because it's really, really good. Love that movie. See, I like movies. If you enjoyed Tinder Swindler, check out Bad Vegan. Okay, I will. I've seen Bad Vegan. I just haven't got to it. My son's vegan, so Bad Vegan is going to be very interesting. He's a good vegan. You're a good vegan. You're a vegan, right? Or vegetarian? I can't remember, Sabrina. I think you said you might be vegan. I don't know. But my son's vegan, so always a challenge with vegans. Disney walkouts I'm fully on board with. Attacking Teslas because you don't like Elon Musk, or sabotaging Chick-fil-A because you don't like what the company backs. Missed the point and hurt the wrong party. Yeah, I just wouldn't eat at Chick-fil-A, okay? Because I don't like the owners, and that's the way you can hit them in the pocketbook, you hope. For a while, it was the same with Carl's Jr. I don't think it's the same way now, but they were supporting apartheid in Africa, and there was no way I was eating that burger. It's not putting that burger in my mouth. My whole family, you know. Evan Hunter tells us a story about, you know, don't eat the food. No. You know, and write letters and broadcast and tell them why you're doing it. And yeah. Because enough people get together and they say it, then who knows? Maybe these people will change their position, like the Disney walkout. And, you know, it's the same principle as far as the food is concerned. Sabotaging a guy in his car because he buys a Tesla, I'm really not getting that. Okay. I don't see how, I don't get that either. Yeah. Wrong party. Absolutely. When I lived next door to Disneyland, says Joe, I was so close I could hear the thump thump of the fireworks being launched every night and the train going by and the Mark Twain passing nearby, blowing its horn. Oh, that's lovely. I would really enjoy that. I don't know that I'd ever watch TV. I just turn the lights out, close my eyes, and listen to that over and over again and make the pictures in my mind. Yeah. Make the pictures, paint the pictures in my mind. There's a story about how Walt vetoed a higher price on the guidebooks they sold for about a nickel, each above their actual cost. He viewed them as marketing tool, and he wanted Disneyland to remain a place families could afford. That becoming less true every year, unless you were a filthy rich family or know someone very rich. It's becoming very challenging. And that crazy woman who talked about guest waistlines, which is why she was making the portions smaller, is the same one who said some of you have more time than money, and some of you have more money than time. See where your hat sits or whatever. She's always putting her foot. She's a she has serious foot and mouth disease. So I don't know what's happening with that chick, So it's just it's messed up. It's really messed up. Hey, Terry, here's an ANA question for you. What do you think about Song of the South? Should Disney release on DVD, Blu-ray? Should they sell the rights to it to another company? Should they let it fall into public domain? Wow, that's a lot. So first of all, yes, they should sell it on DVD and Blu-ray. If it offends, don't buy it. Okay? I'll tell you why. If you don't continue to watch things that were wrong, okay? So I'm trying to think which movie it was where, there were several where the Black people were servants and they were like, yeah, sir. Or they were like, oh, I'm scared. And it was the big dramatic kind of crazy, super blown up stereotype. These kind of characters. You watch these movies to see what not to do. Okay. You watch them. They need to stay. So you learn what not to do. All right. And Song of the South is a fine movie. If you think it has things that weren't quite right, watch it so you can see for yourself what wasn't quite right or was, and form your own opinion. By keeping it from us, I think you're making a decision for other people. And is that against the Constitution? I don't know. I just think that Song of the South is something that, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But if you do like it, it's an education. It's a very educational film. And it's, it was made when it was made. And now you look at it and you go, okay, I see what they're talking about. Okay, I understand what they're saying here. Why is this offensive? Okay, because they did this and they did that. Because some of us are from Missouri and we need to be shown. Sometimes the word isn't enough. We want to see, Whoopi Goldberg tells the story of how excited she was when she sees Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek. Mom, come quick. There's a Black lady on TV and she ain't no maid. Okay? But does that mean that all the maid movies with Black women should be cut out? No, because there's some very beautiful performances, some brilliant work. And you can see why people of color are saying, look, give us more opportunities because of that foundation that was there. I love, what is it? I'll remember it in a minute, but it's a movie that these movies are important. And a lot of times the women or the people of color that did these movies and performed in these movies created a trail for them to rise and were asked about certain things and in certain situations, and they as a representative would grow through and heighten awareness of why. You know what I mean? Sidney Poitier said, people always said I was the spokesperson for African-American people or Black people. See, we say Black people because a lot of Black people don't like being called African-American. Did you realize that? Yeah, African-American is offensive to a lot of them. So you say Black, okay? If you find that if you say African-American and the person snaps back at you, I'm not African-American, I would never nowhere near Africa, I'm a Black person, then just say, hey, I'm sorry, I thought I was being kind. And I apologize. I have a doctor like that. She will literally lose it if you say she's African American. So, you just do the best you can, and apologize and own it and say, look, I didn't want to be offensive, and obviously it didn't work, and I apologize, whatever. But yeah, Song of the South is something I think people should be able to see, just like the films that talk about the Holocaust. You don't want to erase the Holocaust. We want to know about the Holocaust. As a young girl, I couldn't believe that such horrors could be done. And a lot of people try to tell you it's all fake news. It's not real. No, 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 no. No, I don't believe that for a minute. Okay. I don't believe it's fake news at all. I watched a lot of documentaries based on it and was grateful for these documentaries. And it's really creepy. I remember one guy saying how creepy it is that Mercedes made the ovens that took the lives of so many Jewish people. And now the car is one that shows status. I mean, if you're gonna, why Tesla? You respect Mercedes, and Mercedes made their money making the ovens. Is that real? Is that true? They show you right on the oven. It says Mercedes on some of the ovens. It's creepy as all get out. But my point is, it happened, and you need to know that it happened, and you need to read about it, and you need to understand it. I remember I was on tour through Normandy. And we were a busload of tourists. There were about 20 of us, I think. We're in a bus. We're on our way to Normandy. And we stopped at a light. And we saw a woman that was dressed in black, and she had the little shawl around her head and the cane, and she was hobbling along across the street, and she wavered. And she looked like she was going to collapse. So a friend of mine from Austria, he jumped up and asked if he could go help her. And so the bus driver opened the thing, and he ran out, and he said, "Let me help you." Well, she freaked out because she heard his Austrian accent, and she just freaked out. She started, pushing him away and trying to pat him away and screaming. And we realized another person jumped out, and we realized that she was a concentration camp survivor. And that voice just triggered the trauma. Even though he wasn't German, it wasn't a German accent. It was an Austrian accent. It was close enough to send her spinning. So we need to remember these things so we don't do it again. Okay? We must not repeat. And history tends to repeat itself if we don't remember. So we need to remember. Okay. It may be far-fetched to you to think that slavery could happen again, but if we tear down all the people or we ignore the slavers, and let me tell you something about slavery, you couldn't be a white guy going to Africa and just scoop up a bunch of native black people and put them on a boat. You had to have a black person help you because Africa didn't let you set foot on that country back then. So a black person was selling his own people into slavery. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. So you can't just make it. It's not cut and dry. There's a lot of watercolor, and you need to know that stuff. You need to read about it, and you need to be clear on it. Tearing down statues of people that had slavery, because back in the day that was done. You need to know that it can't be done again. We don't take Japanese people or any group of people and put them in a concentration camp because of fear. But we need to know about those times so we don't do it again. And that's the way I feel about Song of the South. If that movie offends, so what? Change the channel. Let it be available. Okay? Let it be available. Why should people say what can and cannot be seen? All right? I just don't want this stuff to happen again. All right? And that's my position on it. That's my position on it. I don't want it to happen again. And if it becomes top of mind, which is why it's very important to have these museums, the Holocaust Museum, where you can go and you can experience and you can hear and you can see and you can feel, so you don't do it again. This was to me as a person, it was unbelievable. I just couldn't. I mean, I was a kid when I learned about it. And I was like, Mom, this can't be true. This is science fiction. This is a horror movie, a real life horror movie, which is why Life is Beautiful is so special, because it tries to tell you about it in a way that you could actually watch it without being so devastated, you know? So, wow, you know, just stop trying to have the government tell us what we can and can't do. Stop begging the government to dictate to us what we can do. Dictate for yourself. You're a human being. You had a brain. You're not a goose. You don't have to fly south for the winter. Nothing keeps you from flying. You want to stay during the winter time? You're not a goose going, why am I flying? Why am I flying? I want to stay. I want to stay. Something not allowing me to do it. You're not that person. You're a human being. You can make your own choices. So let us make our own choices, okay? Trust us. We're going to watch it. We're not going to be converted. You know? That's why changing Splash Mountain to me is like so weird. You know, because maybe people should see it and make a choice for themselves. You know, and decide rather than telling people what they should and shouldn't do. Because Zippity Doo Dah is a great song. Okay, it's a great song. And I don't think racists decided, oh, we'll make this song. I don't know. I just don't believe that. Okay, I don't. Joe Penny Ron Miller also told me that he was severely criticized by Tatum Walker team for suggesting that the parking fee at Disneyland be bumped up to $1 per car. I know. Yeah, he really wanted to. Yeah. Artists are like that, aren't they? George Lucas still defends Jar Jar as his tribute to Goofy. Yeah, but it didn't work. We love you, George Lucas. but that's not Goofy. In this, maybe we'll give you the clueless badge, okay? Because that didn't work. Would you ever do a nude scene, Terry? Yeah, face down in a dumpster. The problem is, guys, that my agent has made it very clear that if I was naked face down in a dumpster playing a dead body, all y'all would go, Terry, that was you in there, wasn't it? So she won't allow it. And my husband says absolutely no. No, it's something that he doesn't deal with well. And luckily, I'm a character actress. It's a great question, Leo. I'm a character actress. And a lot of times, character actresses don't have to do it, except for in a sequence like with Kathy Bates. And that might be cool, right? Because she did such a great job with that. And it was it was different, But my husband has said, if, he doesn't have to worry because I'm not a leading lady. I'm a character or supporting actor. That's what I like. I like being the sidekicks, not the leads. Leads are too boring. Talk about not acknowledging your wrongdoing. Exactly. Well said. Audrey, you're hanging in there. Could you link me to the Classic Movie Facebook group as well? Okay, so Joe, did you hear that? And Audrey, if I think of it, I'll send you. I took a picture. And you maybe took a picture too. So Joe will get you hooked up. Yeah. I found you on Man of a Certain. Oh, see, I did talk about this, Deanna. You see what I mean? Sitting at the table behind Scott Bakula, but facing him. So much fun to see you on the screen. So I talked about how I have a very distinct look. And at one time, a casting director told me if I took the dreads out, which is not what you do, but anyway, I digress, that I could get more roles as an actress. But my agent really chewed him up and spit him out on this one. She called him up and she said, don't you tell my actors how they should be looking, dressing. Terry's my oak. And when she gets a part, she delivers. She may not get a lot of parts, but she's very special and unique. So don't be telling her she should change in any way. How dare you? And she really went to bat for me. She was my mama bear. She's a great, great agent. But my agents allowed me to do extra work. And there was a company who knew they could use me as a seat filler pretty much because I didn't care about so many people who are extras or atmosphere in a movie want to be next to the principal actors, right? And I don't want to because this is what happens. Okay, so look at this. Man of a Certain Age, season 1, episode 3. You want to check it out. You don't really have to look at me. Just watch the actors talking because I absolutely steal focus. Wouldn't you say, Diane? Without even stealing focus, I steal focus, which is why you don't put me next to the principal actors. Okay. And if I'm an extra, if I have a line, that might be different. But oh my gosh, I did 2 episodes of that. I kept saying, why don't you just have me be the people? Because I'm usually the person, you remember that restaurant, Diane, they had people walking by creating the shadows. That's usually what I do. And I love it. Same money, you know. And then you can, the people who are so excited about being close to the principal actors can be close to the principal actors. I don't care. Like I said, I want my agent to reach out to Yellowstone. I wrote her the other day and said, can you reach out to Yellowstone? Tell them I ride well. I don't rope cattle and I don't herd cattle. And I'm an old time barrel racer, but that won't work either. But if they want someone to fill the background on horseback, I can ride and hold my own. And I'd love it. Just put me, 200 yards out and my silhouette just riding to fill the screen. Oh, I'd love it. I'll fly myself out there to be on Yellowstone. But it doesn't need to be anything big. It could be me in the shadows mucking stalls. I really don't care. I just love Yellowstone so much. I would love to be a part of it. And I think it could be. So I've asked her to say, she really likes it. Could she have a small role? She doesn't even have to talk. I can be someone that's killed. I have a line and then, that's what I said to Guillermo del Toro. Can't you just give me one line and then I die afterwards? It would be really fun, So, yeah. So, yes. So check it out. Season 1, episode 3 of Men of a Certain Age. I mentioned that on Monday, and look at you looking it up and checking it out. I wonder if it's on YouTube, because if it is, I'll link it to my playlist. You can actually see a lot of things I've done in the past by going to my channel, clicking on my playlists, and just having a ball. You'll see Foster Farms Chickens there, my early puppet stuff there. And if you do, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Show me some love. Show me some love. Andrew Garfield, also one of that. Yes, he was. He was good as one of the Spider-Men too, but not my favorite role. My favorite role is still Hacksaw Ridge. Lord, let me just get one more. Let me get one more. Oh, what a great movie. What a great movie. Wow. And then at the end, they have the real guy. Yeah. I read the book first, and afterwards the movie was actually good. Because a lot of times you read the book, you go, oh, the movie was bleh. But this time they were really good. Yeah. Andrew Garfield. Dude, I'd watch you drink a soda because I bet you it would be cool. I bet you just would just sell it. I just believe that in you. Really an amazing actor. Wow, what an amazing actor. She says, I'm also vegan, but it's a lot more about the effects of manipulation than it is about veganism at all. Yeah, I got to tell you, I did a retreat. And one of the girls who joined me on the retreat, 10 people getting together, learning how to make a living, doing what they love. And we spend the weekend together at a really fancy house that has, rooms. We'll either all have a hotel and we meet in a big house and do our things kind of like Camp Lakota and stuff. And she was vegan. And I asked her if she would bring her proteins because I didn't want that responsibility and we would take care of vegetables. And she was so sweet. She said, being vegan doesn't mean healthy. It means that just like anything else, you have to work to be healthy. And I really learned a lot about being vegan, and I really appreciate that from her because it was great. It was absolutely great it was great to hear from her. And we were at a great place, and the man was a gardener, and he had these what did they call them? Midnight tomatoes. And oh my gosh, she went crazy for them. And because there were only a few that he had left, because it was the end of the season for these tomatoes, we saved them for her. And she just kept saying, this is the best she's ever eaten because I provide the food. You pay for lodging and you pay for the retreat, but then I take care of everything at the retreat. Plus we learn, we sculpt, we paint, it's a great retreat and only 10 people get to come. So that's what we did in 2019. And then I was going to do it again in 2020 and you know what happened. So, but she taught me a lot about being vegan and what people usually do and what they should do and just all levels of it. She did it for health reasons. And it was fascinating, Sabrina. It was really cool. Andrew Garfield is the actor you're talking about. He was incredible in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I thought so. A few years ago, Scorsese's film Silence, which takes place in 18th century Japan. Oh, I'm going to write that one down because I'd like to see it. I haven't seen him in that yet, and I would love to do a library based on Andrew. Actually, I saw him first in Hacksaw Ridge and fell in love with his performance. Okay, not the man. Okay, I'm not looking at him as a lust object. That's reserved for my husband and maybe Christopher Walken. But I loved him in Hacksaw Ridge. He was just so good. And then I read the book. I've read the books, and I've seen This Is Your Life for the man that he portrays, and it's just a beautiful story across the board. I think a movie really does a great job when it makes you say, I want to read that book, you know. I want to read that book, or I want to learn that. Trumbo did that. I wanted to read the book of Trumbo right away, and it took me a long time, but it's a great book. So it's cool. I met Kirk Douglas when he was hawking his biography, and I love that too. His memoir. He did a book of his memoirs, and that was great too. I got a signed copy and got to chat with him a little bit. He is probably one of, I mean, when it comes to attractive looking person, that's him. You know, I look at that and go, wow, yeah. So thank you for that, Joe. I am going to check that film out. I agree about letting people see and decide. Anne Frank had a huge impact on me as a little girl. Yes, absolutely. Wow, so true. So true, Susan. Book and movie, but then my nuns were the first out of habit. Education is all. Yes. The story of Anne Frank is excellent. And the book, I mean, all of it. Oh, that's quite a story. I mean, and what if someone said you shouldn't be reading that stuff? You know, I think we're going to stop that because we don't think you should read that. I mean, really? You know, so I just don't think people should tell other people, you know, they can make their own decision. Hey, Audrey, I'll send you a message with the link in the group once we're done here. There you go. Joe's got you. He's got you back, Audrey. No, I love you, but I had seen the whole series and missed you. I had to go back and find you. Sit wherever they want you. I know. I mean, that's the way it is. But I remember, okay, what happened with that is that I traded with another lady, okay, because I was there and I knew I was going to pull focus. My agent is a truth teller. And she said, the problem with sitting you next to the principal actors is they're going to be looking at you and not the actors. And it's not because I'm so I'm so dynamic. You thought I cussed there, didn't you? So dynamic. It's because I am unusual. And unusual attracts vision. You know, you go to that which is unusual, and that's me. My acting teachers told me I got to learn to embrace it. I got to not apologize for it, so on and so forth. So, okay. So this woman said, I should be where you're sitting. She looked at me. She is an atmosphere girl. I need to be where you're sitting. So we traded, got up and moved. I didn't think the person who was setting the scene would care, the first AD. I didn't think the first AD would care. Really, I think he just took, you know, two white chicks and put him sitting down there, you know. And this woman really was intense about being there in that position. And the AD came over and got really ticked at us. He said, are you directing this movie or are we? And I was like, well, I apologize because she wanted to sit here and I, forgive me, didn't see that was that important, but obviously it is. He goes, important enough for me to switch you back. Don't do it again. And I said, my humblest apologies. I'm sorry. I should not be directing your movie. And she was furious. She was so angry that she wasn't there. But then after it showed Diane, I think they probably said the same thing. I think they were like, we should have listened to them. We shouldn't have put that girl there. Everybody's asking us about that girl, you know? But yeah, I think it's sweet of you to have gone back and to let everybody know that they can now find it too. You'll really laugh if you guys watch it. Because the idea is to stay focused on the people who are talking, not this unusual, look, there's a Wookiee sitting behind, sitting behind the actors. You look at the Wookiee, wouldn't you? Yeah. Or the Jawa, you know. My agent was always very, very straight. I'd love to go on your sculpting retreat. I'll keep you posted. We're not. I don't think I'll do him this year because this year's too precarious. But I'm thinking of doing him again in 2023. I want to research where I want to go. I have a friend who owns a cabin, and that's where we did it the last time. It was wonderful. But I also have another friend who says she has a house near the beach, and I think that might be a nice, fun atmosphere for people who are creative in their various ways. It's really good. It's relaxing, and you get 3 days of me together in person for all those 3 days. We eat together, we cook together, we go on. We went to Sequoia National Park. There's sequoias. We looked at sequoias where I was. We walked around together. It was great. It was great. We did all kind. They really loved it. I have to get those pictures. I have to get those testimonials up on my website. But if wishes were horses, all men would ride. Thank you. You're welcome, Audrey. You're welcome. Of course. Joe, I'm interested in your movie group as well. You got Darren in there. You want to see Andrew Garfield in The Social Network and Never Let Me Go. I think I saw him in The Social Network. But the fact that I'm saying I think I saw him, okay, I'm writing those down too. You sound like a fan too. I love when we share movies. Have you guys seen Paulie? Paulie, about a talking parrot. It's Tony Shalhoub's first film, introducing Tony Shalhoub. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen it, it's called Paulie, Paulie. Paulie. Watch it with your kids. It's so wonderful. They will cry though. So if you don't like to let your kids feel, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying, if you don't like to see your little kids crying and getting emotional with the movie, or they're not used to it, this movie has a real message, has real strength, has real beauty, has real softness, is really great. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. Paulie, Paulie, Tony Shalhoub's first film. I have to sign off. My granddaughter just had my third grade. Diane, that's wonderful. Look at that. Your third grade granddaughter. Look at you, girl. You go, girl. That's awesome. Congratulations. Have a lovely weekend. We're wrapping up here because people are getting, running out of questions and comments. Darren Michaels, I'll send you the link as well. And she says, third grade, not third girl. I knew it was third grade. Great. Not great, but third grade, right? Diane, congratulations. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Been meaning to see Andrew Garfield in Angels in America. I did see him there. I actually have those DVDs. I should pull them out again and check them. I think I still have my Angels in America DVD because I love that series. It'd be good because it's kind of early in his career, isn't it? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I love looking at early stuff and go, I know that person. Like there's a guy in in the series Bones. He had curly hair, and now I think his hair is no longer curly. He's kind of reddish, beard and hair stuff. When it first opened, he had curly hair. He was in a Foster Farms chicken commercial with us, and he was a rising actor. And then he landed Bones, and the rest is history. So it was kind of cool to see him pop up, and I know that fella. So it's kind of cool to see that. The same with I meant to show you the Godzilla Criterion Godzilla collection. In there, you have an extremely young Key Luke from many things. You can barely see him. He's so young. He doesn't have all his features yet, but it's wonderful to see him and others. If you're someone who loves this actor from Kung Fu and various other things that he did. He's a #1 actor and very, very good. Wow, he's one of my favorite characters. Yay, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So there you go. All right, everybody. We have gone over 3 hours today, didn't we? Yeah, 3.5 hours today. What I like to do if I have the time, and I was going to make the time for you today, is not cut you off after 2 hours. I was going to say after 2 hours, I would, stop it and then the questions would roll over. And I might do that at some point. But right now, I had a little bit of time. So I thought we'd just talk because I felt it was important. There were a lot of questions. There was a lot of conversation today that I felt needed to be said. And I appreciate you all participating, those of you did. And those of you listening, I hope that your hearts are with us as well. And I know it was it's kind of, these kind of subjects can get to be challenging if you want just, rainbows and hearts. But sometimes you gotta, in order to have that lovely, beautiful, sunshiny, everything is awesome world, you gotta dig deep into the dirt and kind of let people know your thoughts and views in a tolerant way, right? So I love you guys. A lot to do this weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have so many things to do. I will guarantee you one thing. I'm going to celebrate my son's birthday. If I get a chance, I found a lot of old pictures. I also found me working on the Talking Mickey Mouse. I don't know if I told you that I originally did the first Talking Mickey Mouse. I worked on the first Talking Mickey Mouse where the components were too big to put all in the head, and now Mickey has them all in the head because, of course, the components have gone down to a chip. So if you're interested in seeing those and stuff like that, maybe the Ask Me Anything, I can take you through a walk through some of the things that I've done visually, a couple of things like that. And I'm going to talk to the Patreon people about possibly doing a spotlight and letting people know about the history of my past. Anyway, it'll be in a book someday. I'm working on it. Yep. I love you guys. Hugs, kisses. Darren says, have an amazing weekend. You too, Darren. Post Oscar talk on Monday. You betcha, Joe. We'll do an Oscar talk on Monday. That's great. I can actually pop that up. We'll have a chat about it. All right. I promise. That'll be fun. Thank you for chatting for so long. Audrey, are you kidding? This is it. Think about joining Patreon, Audrey, if you get a minute, because I think you'd be great. I think y'all would be great, actually. So consider it, okay? Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Or just go to Patreon website, Google Terri Hardin, Imagineer, and you will find me, okay? I love you guys. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. We'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Mwah. I love all of you. Gosh, what a great conversation it was today. And a demonstration of a debate. So I love you both for that too.